to the playoffs. They're 21-7 in games played in November and December, and that's when you go to the playoffs. That's how you become a champion. Unfortunately for the Houston Oilers, if you go back a couple of years, in 1982 they had a 10-game losing streak, in 83 a 10-game losing streak, 84 a 10-game losing streak, last year a 5-game losing streak, and it's the hardest habit to break, losing.
Raiders are wary coming in here. They haven't been in here in a few years, but they have lost 2 of the last 3 times they have played the Oilers here at the Astrodome. Now, Lee Johnson is ready to kick the ball off for Houston, a one-hopper downfield, and Fulton Walker will run it back for Los Angeles. Good return out to the 26-yard line, and there Mark Wilson and the Raider offense goes from scrimmage for the first time. Frank Hawkins and Marcus Allen listed as the starters. Marcus still troubled by that bad ankle, and we see right now Napoleon McCallum is trotting out. So Allen will not start. Hester and Williams are wide receivers. Todd Christensen having another big year at tight end. Offensive line has gotten better and better week by week, paralleling the improvement of the Raiders in the one-loss column. Most far the center, the Raider people feel is as good as anybody in football. Hawkins running hard on a 1st and 10 play. Gets to about the 28-yard line where a young linebacker from Kentucky who's all over the field, John Grimsley, makes the knockdown. Ray Childress, number 79, is a tremendous player. 2nd player picked in the draft 2 years ago. Golick out of Notre Dame, the nose tackle. Richard Byrd, a pass rusher at defensive end. Lyles, a spectacular linebacker, ran back a fumble, 93 yards for a touchdown last week at Cincinnati. Late in the game, but then the Bengals came back to win. McCallum breaks it on 2nd and 7, and the Raiders go to the run on long yardage and get a 1st down run from the Naval Academy ensign. Bo Eason, the free safety, knocked him down, but well downfield. It was a 9-yard gain.
And one of the things you'll notice about the Oiler defense under Jerry Glanville, it's basically organized mayhem. They blitz all over the place. They try to attack that line of scrimmage. And if you can break through that first line of defense, you can pick up a lot of yards. As Marcus Allen on the sideline today, still with that bad ankle, does not like AstroTurf.
Wilson, his first throw on 1st and 10. Free football. Wilson gets it, but he's down at the 32-yard line. A loss of 5. It'll be 2nd down and 15.
I know it was Johnny Meads on the outside blitz. He got inside. It looked like Napoleon McCallum. He was right in Mark Wilson's face, and the ball bounces for the Raiders. There you see right in front of you. It's McCallum who misses the block. Meade strips it right out of his hand. Bounces right back up to him. That's the way the ball is bounced for the Houston Oilers. Against them.
Meads, the outside backer. He's a blitzer. This team will come at you on blitzes all different ways. Everybody blitzes one time or another, including the safeties. 2nd and 15 for Mark Wilson and the Raiders. McCallum again hitting into the left side of the Houston defense. Robert Abraham, 56, an inside linebacker, and Keith Bostic, the strong safety, made the knockdowns. Steve Brown and Patrick Allen are the corners for Houston. Patrick Allen, a very highly regarded pass cover out of Utah State. Bostic and Eason are the safeties. McCallum has been coming on, playing better and better, averaging over 4 yards a rush. Now it's a throwing down from Mark Wilson and the Raiders, as you see, 3rd down and 11.
Watch Christensen. Let's see how they deal with him here.
A lot of men up on the line for the Oilers. Come with a blitz. Wilson stands in, walks the long ball, and Dokie Williams can't get to it at the 40-yard line of the Houston Oilers. Brown was covering, so the Raiders send out their punter, Ray Guy.
The other thing that Mark Wilson's going to have to do now is recognize the kind of defense that the Oilers have on the field. They will at times come with 7 defensive backs. They're not bashful at all about bringing 6 defensive backs into the ball game. They have to be identified for Mark Wilson. A lot of audibles today would work, I would think.
Willie Drury, number 82, back to return the punt. Ray Guy hits it at his 26. It's a good punt. Very high, a spiral that forces Drury into a fair catch at his 28-yard line.
Flag down, Don.
And it's at the line of scrimmage. Somebody might have been downfield early. A legal man downfield early is the signal. 37-yard punt with no return.
I think you decline that one. They got pretty good field position here at the 28.
Glanville doesn't want it. Jerry Glanville.
Ineligible downfield, number 59. Offense, decline.
That's the
First
snapper,
down.
Jamie Kimmel.
So we'll be back to the Astrodome right after this. We're at the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. Mike Haynes on the sideline for the Raiders, one of the best players in the league at cornerback. Out again this week, apparently, although he's, you see, in uniform. Trouble with a leg muscle strain. And right now, the Oilers have the ball for the first time in this scoreless game. Warren Moon stands in. Hard throw, but Rozier catches it, and Mike Rozier, the former Heisman Trophy winner from Nebraska, gets out to the 38-yard line. It's an Oiler first down.
One of the things that Jerry Glanville's done with his offense is allow a little more movement by the quarterback. This is Matthews on Sean Jones, and that's an excellent job, actually, allowing Warren Moon time. But that's the big matchup today. How Matthews handles Sean Jones. From behind, Bill Piquel, the nose tackle. The Raiders blitz on the first play. It's picked up, and 9 yards on the pass completion to Rozier.
Now Warren Moon, who quarterbacked his team in Canada, Edmonton, to 5 straight Grey Cup championships, drops to throw in another hard ball. This one's taken down at the 50. Drew Hill, a former L.A. Ram, goes up high and comes down with it 13 yards downfield. It's another Oiler first down. This is not a typical of the Oilers start. They move the ball. They just can't sustain it through 4 quarters. At least they have not been able to after their first game. They played the Bears. The Bears should have lost here at the Astrodome. A lot of teams should have lost to Houston, but in the end, the Oilers find a way to fall out of it. Right now, they're cooking early in the scoreless first quarter. Pass is the name of the game. Another completion. This is Woolfolk. A good move on the strong safety, Stacy Coran, and Woolfolk is about 10 yards downfield.
And a point to make here, the Raiders are primarily a bump and run defense. As you look at the defensive line, but in the first several snaps of this offense by the Houston Oilers, the Raiders have been playing zone. They blitzed a linebacker, and both Seal and Lester Hayes were very soft in coverage. I'm surprised so far. I see once again, you don't see them up on the receivers. They're way off.
It's second down and less than a yard now for the Oilers. Movement on the right side.
Yep.
Sean Jones' jump. We'll see if he was drawn off.
That's Steinkühler, who came out of his stance too early. Number 70.
Number 76. Offense, still second down.
Calling Eric Moran, but it looked like it might have been Steinkühler. Well, at any
think
rate, it's a foul call against the Oilers.
I think they had their choice.
New Orleans first on the board today, a 3-0 lead over the Jets at Giant Stadium. Jets will have a hard time sustaining the emotion of their upset victory over Denver Monday night. Best football game the Jets have played all year. Tampa Bay not having much of a year, out in front. Houston's opponent next week, Miami, up 7-0 early. 2nd and 5. Here's a blitz by Turan. Ball is intercepted. Rod Martin on the run for the Raiders has it back to the 39-yard line. Last week, the first pass that Warren Moon threw was an interception. And this week, early in the game, he's picked off again. So the Oilers, as has been their history, drive down, then make the big mistake.
From the left side, there you see Turan on a safety blitz, which is really unusual for the Raider defense. Martin just kind of almost fair catches that. Jim Romano, the center, makes the tackle.
Warren Moon Trump was 3 for 3 for 31 yards before that 4th pass. It's his 14th interception.
Well, he's 4 for 4 now, but
Yeah.
one to the other guys.
One the wrong way. So Raiders second possession, good field position inside the Houston 40. Big rush again. Here's Mark Wilson. Doesn't like to run, but has to. Free ball. Oilers have it back at their 27.
Wilson is still down. They're going to mark him down.
They're going to mark him down. Apparently they rule the field freed the ball. We'll watch again.
These plays are never over until the replay official says it's over. From this angle, the hit by Steve Brown, hard to tell from behind Mark Wilson whether or not it's It is a fumble before he hits the ground. Another look in the end zone. Oh, that's a fumble.
It was a fumble all the way.
That's a fumble.
Raiders going into formation quickly, and now the official is getting a check from upstairs. Al Ward of the National Football League office is looking at the replay.
Now, this is good. I mean, they stop things before anything goes on. That replay again, that's exactly what it's for.
There they are.
There's a new system of communication. This is the replay that confirms it before that knee is down. That ball is loose. That's Houston ball.
Well, they saw it again.
Instant replay. The play stands.
Oh, no.
Second down.
No. Wait a minute. No way. Can't be. Where's the knee? Where's the knee? That's the only way it can be ruled that he's down. No. No. Absolutely not. That knee is not down. That's Houston's ball.
It is an incorrect call, but apparently it's going to stand.
Now, wait a minute. That can't be. That's exactly what that system is for. I don't know how they can have that. Unless there's a miscommunication. They're still talking. Run the replay again, please, Dick Klein. Glenn Adamo, our producer. What they're saying, apparently, is the knee is down before the ball is loose, but he loses control of that football, Don, before the knee is down. That is Houston ball. That's what this replay system is for. You can slow it down as almost to a still frame. That ball is loose before his knee is down. I'm a big proponent of this system, but it's got to be used properly, and the guys in the booth have got to say what they see.
Well, we didn't have long before we had our first controversy of the day. 9:10 remains to play in the first quarter. There's no score on the board. The Raiders and the Oilers.
This can't happen. The booth is right next to us, and they're talking back and forth.
Sam Bogosian of the Raiders staff saying the knee was down, slapping his knee. Didn't appear to be, though. The ball appeared on the way out before Wilson's knee was down.
Let's see it again. Can we look at it again? I like the fact that they're waiting here, taking a second look. If that knee's not down, he loses control of that football before the knee hits the ground. Therefore, that is a fumble.
Well, you have a couple of very competent guys reviewing it, I can assure you that, from the National Football League office, who know the rules, and a very close call. So right now, the game is stopped. 9:10 to play in the first quarter. And now here's Mark Wilson as he rolls out. Had to run the ball. Comes up. The hit's made on him by Steve Brown, and the ball is free.
You can't tell from that replay that we see here, but from this replay, before his knee hits the ground, even people in Los Angeles would agree that ball is out of his control. He no longer has control of the football. Jerry Glanville, of course, the way this season's gone already for him, certainly expects now to the telephone. Mike Lasevsky is the replay official. That play cannot stand. It can't stand.
Well, so far it is. It was interesting, though, Trump. Dick Jorgensen, the referee, said the play stands, but now we're having another review.
They want to make sure. There you see the new system that the umpire has. He has a wireless microphone and a hearing piece so he can hear what's going on. And unfortunately, these guys on the field are blind. They're instructed not to look at the diamond vision in these stadiums. The replay phone is dead, and I don't think we'll have another play until it's fixed, and that play cannot stand.
Trump, you've got to assert yourself. Don't lay back.
That's what the replay system is.
You're right.
for.
No, there's no question. It is a very difficult call. If the knee is down before the ball is out, then, of course, he's a down runner. But the ball was obviously out of his grasp on the way out before the knee was down, at least in the looks we got from 3 different angles. The one from behind, the end zone replay, seemed to be the most conclusive.
The replay official also has what is, in fact, a better system than we do at looking to the replays. He can slow that thing down and still frame it to where it's a picture as opposed to motion, and actually see better than we can with our replay system.
If you joined us late, this is Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy at the Astrodome in Houston, Texas, where the Raiders, who started out with 3 consecutive losses, have now come back with 4 straight wins, needing another today against the Houston Oilers, a team that's played very well until the end of most games.
After further review, the play stands.
No! No!
Well, yes is the answer, so the play does stand, and the Raiders drive on. Instead of a fumble and a turnover, credit Mark Wilson with an 8-yard run. It's 2nd down and 2 from the 31-yard line of Houston. McCallum gets to the 30, maybe not even that far. They're going to mark him at the 32-yard line. Robert Abraham, a very quick, tough linebacker from North Carolina State, shot the gap and nailed McCallum.
Last week, the Raiders found out they had a rushing game against Miami, 214 yards. Marcus Allen had 91 in the first half, and McCallum took over in the second half. No. We're hearing from the truck. Wait a minute till you hear this.
3rd down and a long 2 as Wilson stands in against a big rush. Long ball to Christensen, and he just cannot get to it at the 5.
From the replay booth, the official upstairs says that the field judge blew the whistle before the fumble happened. Impossible. Each week, there seems to be another excuse made for the misuse of that equipment. It's unacceptable at this point.
1 week when we had the Raiders at Kansas City, the official called down incomplete pass. The official construed him to have said complete, and it was a touchdown.
Yep. Dokie Williams. Chris Barr on for the field goal
Now Chris
attempt.
Barr will try a 50-yard field goal. He's been kicking very well. This young attorney, he's got it up in the air, and it might just be enough. It is a 49-yard field goal officially, and so the Raiders get points after the controversial call. There is a marker down in the field, though, and indications early are that it is against Houston.
And it's going to extend the drive, which is what's hurt the Houston Oilers all season long. Holding against the defense on a field goal attempt. Unheard of. The drive will extend once again for a Houston Oiler opponent.
If the whistle blew before Wilson was down.
Number 93, defense, 5 yards, first down.
Whoa, now they're going to take points off and go with the first down.
Sure.
Chris Barr would like to have the 49-yard field goal.
Pose your question again. If the whistle
Well, if the
blew,
whistle blew before before Wilson actually fumbled the ball, I don't know how it could have blown a fish because he wasn't hit till he...
when he runs the football, he has no protection from the linesman. He is a running back. You don't blow quick whistles. He was across the line of scrimmage and in jeopardy. Same rules for any running back on any running play.
Now it is 1st and 10 for the Raiders. They take the penalty in the first down. McCallum gets down to the 23-yard line. Robert Lyles, an outside linebacker, and Johnny Meads, the other, made the stop. Looking at the scoreboard, field goals early. Vikings up on the Browns. Steelers up on the Bengals. And New Orleans continues to lead the Jets. Chicago with Jim McMahon back at quarterback up on the Detroit Lions. New England, a tremendous football team, is not playing Pittsburgh. They're playing Buffalo, but apparently they're in the lead 7-0. Indianapolis has come back to tie Miami. Second, a long 5 for the Raiders. No score in the first quarter. There's a blitz. Wilson stands in. He's going to Barksdale, and it's incomplete in the end zone. Here's a flag.
Don, this is all set up by a 4th down holding call against the defense that once again extends a Houston Oiler opponent drive. And now it's going to be 1st and goal for the Raiders. Ball intended for Barksdale, a young man with outstanding speed.
Number 29, defense, first down on the 1-yard line.
That's a good call. The reason it's called is that Patrick Allen was not looking back at the quarterback. Ends up being a 22-yard gain by penalty. 1st and point-blank range for the Raiders.
Patrick Allen runs into Rod Barksdale, and so there's a foul call against the Oilers, and that puts the ball at the Houston 1-yard line. Power formation now. 3 tight ends come in. Christensen, Andy Parker, and Earl Cooper also in. Frank Hawkins and Napoleon McCallum are the runners for Los Angeles. McCallum, free ball. Keith Bostic shot the gap and put a big hit on along with Steve Brown, but apparently the Raiders kept it. Game clock shows 7:22 to play in the first quarter.
Hawkins, the lead blocker, generally a very good blocker, but people come around. Hawkins does his job. He nails 59 Grimsley. This is a staunch defense for the Houston Oilers, but from point-blank range, I don't know how good they are.
Raiders have 3 more downs to try to bang it in. This will be from the 2. They lost a yard. Play fake. Andy Parker, touchdown Los Angeles. And so Parker has a big moment. They don't go to him often, and Andy Parker's in the end zone with the first score of the day. It's the Raiders 6, the Oilers nothing with 6:57 to play.
Not a bad percentage. His first catch in the NFL, and obviously his first touchdown. Lobbed very well by Mark Wilson. Points that, in my estimation, should not count.
But points that do, and Chris Barr is going to look for a 7th. Raiders hoping to make the turn at the end of the day. 1 game out in the AFC West. They'd need an upset of Seattle over Denver, and they'd have to win here with the Raiders. Now the extra point up and good by Chris Barr, and so Houston gets it back, but on a kickoff, not on a fumble recovery.
We thought we determined Mr. Trumpy to be in disagreement with the replay official.
Yeah, Don, I'm a big proponent of that replay system. But we can't have these things just suddenly popping up in the judgment. My estimation of that last play was knee down, it's no fumble. The knee was not down, and Wilson lost control of the football. That's a fumble. And there's no way in the world that any official on the field can blow a whistle, because when the quarterback leaves the pocket, he's not protected as a passer. It's another fumble by the replay official.
But it's also 7-0 Raiders. A 49-yard field goal by Barr was taken off the board when they got a foul call on a Houston lineman, and then they took it in on a touchdown throw. Here's a penalty marker down, so it's not raining, it's pouring on the Oilers. This will be a penalty against the kick return team, and a Raider is down. Looks like Sam Seal.
That hurts. He's their starting cornerback because Haynes is out. He's still on the ground. Looked like he's holding his arm, his elbow, his wrist. They do not want Mike Haynes to play today with his bad ankle and his bad calf. James Davis is now going to go at cornerback.
Right arm bothering Davis, a very good coverer, too. Raiders have a lot of talent. George Anderson, their trainer, attending now to Sam Seal, along with Bob Rosenfeld, the team physician in the blue coat. Remember him from the Raiders.
Ooh, Jack Tatum, they call me assassin. One of the hardest hitters I've ever come across in my life, and he did it while you were looking at him. He never hit you from behind. I saw him flip a thigh pad inside out on Chip Meyer's leg one day, just hitting him in the helmet. Flipped it inside out.
Now it is 1st and 10 after the penalty inside the 10-yard line. Warren Moon gets time, goes deep. He's got a man. It's caught for a first down at the 27-yard line. Again, that ex-LA Ram, Drew Hill, out of Georgia Tech. He's not big, 5'9", but so very quick. Turning out for a 19-yard gain. Good throw by Moon.
They're going at James Davis, and the Raiders continue to go with this zone. The cornerbacks are dropping off. You see McElroy at the bottom corner of the screen dropping off. Look at the cushion between receiver and defensive back. Now, Davis made up a lot of ground, but this is unusual. Sam Seal back now at cornerback.
It is now 1st and 10 for Houston. Block ball. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Bill Piquel, the nose tackle, might have been the first one through. Long, Piquel, and Sean Jones. Triumvirate of power up front.
You said a mouthful. Romano, the center on Piquel there. These guys get it done almost by themselves. They got 18 of the team's 23 sacks. Piquel, Long, Jones, and Townsend.
Now Warren Moon could see blitz. Here's a handoff. It goes to Rozier. He runs into somebody right up the middle. Piquel slipped the block and drilled him with the shoulder. Reggie McKenzie was also on the play. As 3rd and long comes up. Browns and the Vikings locked in a 3-3 tie. Pittsburgh up on Cincinnati. New England up on Buffalo. Green Bay could be going for a 2nd straight upset win. Kansas City's now ready to take the lead over Tampa Bay. Tim Smith is now in the game for the first time. He's flanked wide to the right, and that's where they might be going on 3rd and 8. He's had very limited playing time this year. Warren Moon takes a look. Fires downfield. It's a tip ball. Lester Hayes had a play on it. Ernest Givens, that much celebrated rookie, had it tear him off his shoulder pad. This is a real player, Ernest Givens. He's not done yet. Missed that one.
One of the things that teams like to do against the Raiders, because of their bump and run coverage, their safeties generally either are quick in support or very deep in pass coverage, is run crossing patterns. That time Houston had one, but Givens just dropped the ball.
Lee Johnson into punt to Fulton Walker. Big rush, a tremendous punt by Lee Johnson. Walker swept under. Fiery special team plays. Eric Fairs, a rookie linebacker, comes down and makes the stop. A 53-yard punt, a 2-yard return. Raiders leading 7-0. Get the ball when we... Jim Plunkett, 39 years young, 16th year in the NFL, ready to come in if need be. Still has a tremendous arm.
And one of the game's greatest competitors ever. Simply stated.
They got him as a free agent, did the Raiders, in '78. Now Raiders up 7-0. It is 1st and 10 at their 19-yard line. First back through is Hawkins. Bang. Johnny Meads comes a hitting. 91. Robert Lyles was also on the stop.
Hawkins, an important man to this football team. He's the yeller, the screamer, the hollerer in the huddle. He gets people going. That 5.4-yard average by Hawkins, some of the toughest yards running backs will ever gain. Always up through the gut. More importantly, he's the lead blocker for Marcus Allen and today Napoleon McCallum.
Jesse Hester comes out on the left flank to the near side. Doki Williams out to the top of your screen. Todd Christensen is across the 30-yard line. He has a first down for the Raiders, a 10-yard gain. Keith Bostic was covering, but not well.
One of the things that you sacrifice when you go with a blitz, Don, is single coverage behind. And if you're going to single cover a guy like Todd Christensen, you see his release off the line of scrimmage coming right at us at the 25-yard line, and that was down to the right. You've got to hold him up. Very few defensive backs were big enough and strong enough to do that.
Nothing there for McCallum as he's knocked down to the 31-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Ray Childress and Johnny Meads on the tackle. Childress out of Texas A&M, number 79, is a player that many think is going to be an all-pro in years to come. Now in just his 2nd year, 275 pounds, the number 2 pick.
Still got to learn how to pass rush. Pass rushing in the NFL is a learned art.
Almost looks like a football player.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Great against the run, but still learning the nuances to the pass rush.
6'6", 275. Now it's 2nd down and a little over 9, actually. Long 9. 7-0 Raiders in the first quarter. Childress gets the rush on. It's eluded, and now the ball is taken by Christensen, and he's ahead for a gain of about 6 out to the 36-yard line. Richard Byrd, 71, ran him down.
Don, on almost every play, you see the Houston Oilers blitzing an outside linebacker. They try to put pressure on the outside, help their pass rush, because their pass rush, their defensive line, has only accounted for 5 sacks so far through 7 games. And Mark Wilson, not wanting to get hit, just flips it to Todd Christensen and says, "You take the gang tackle."
There was controversy early in this game. If you joined us late, Mark Wilson, running on a broken pass play, seemed to fumble the ball. Indications from the replay were that. But it was given to the Raiders for an 8-yard gain, and soon thereafter, they were in the end zone for the first and only score of this game. Wilson fires. Too much on it. Going to Doki Williams. He's hit hard by Steve Brown.
They put good pressure on Wilson throughout this first quarter so far. And the secondary coverage, you see the corners up and the free safety back. Man-to-man everywhere. The receiver falls down. Overthrown just a little bit. This is a tough defense to beat, even though the Houston Oilers are 1-6.
We have a further explanation of that phantom fumble.
I can't
Well,
wait.
it wasn't a phantom. It was a fumble indeed, but the ball wasn't recovered. Right now, Ray Guy hits a long punt downfield. It's going to be taken to the 13-yard line by Willie Drury. Willie Drury showing some stuff. Is out across the 35-yard line and out to the 37. A 49-yard punt, but Drury ran it back 27.
Great guy. He slowed him up enough that everybody else made the tackle, or he goes all the way.
First quarter, the Raiders have a 7-0 lead on a 1-yard touchdown pass from Mark Wilson to Andy Parker, who made his first NFL reception in the end zone. Now the Oilers have the ball. First and 10, the ball positioned at their 37-yard line. Warren Moon's been on target, accepting that one pass that was intercepted by Rod Martin. Good coverage by Matt Millen, the big Penn Stater, back in zone coverage. Graceful as a dancer, up to slap it down.
And this is as much blitzing as I've seen the Raiders do in 1986. McKenzie blitzed that time. Jerry Robinson blitzed that time. They're putting a lot of people right in the face of Warren Moon. One reason is, I think, to keep him in the pocket. When he runs, he can throw the ball very, very well.
Houston, this is only their second running play, and they've got markers down all over as Rozier is hemmed in. Bruce Matthews might be called for the foul. We'll see as the clock is stopped with 1:50 to go in the first quarter. Raiders 7, the Oilers nothing.
Ball start, number 74, offense.
Bruce Matthews, offensive left tackle, trying to get out there to hook Sean Jones.
Oilers have averaged 7 penalties a game. Jerry Glanville, the man in black, and that might be fitting garb to reflect his spirit after these 6 tough losses. Pittsburgh up on favored Cincinnati 10-0, and New Orleans, a big underdog, leading the Jets 6-0 on a pair of field goals. Green Bay up on the 49ers 14-0. After the 5-yard penalty, it's 2nd down and 15 for Houston. 7-0 Raiders. Warren Moon, a former most valuable player in the Rose Bowl, is again rejected by Piquel. Trying to drill that hard fastball in, and the Raider lineman slapping it back at him like a big guy at the net in tennis.
Don, what defensive linemen are taught, and taught very well by the Los Angeles Raiders, is you get as much pressure as you can. Watch on the right. Piquel, number 71, get as much upfield as you can and get your hands up in the air. Knocks the ball away. That's the second time that Piquel has knocked the ball out of the air.
Here comes a long ball if Warren Moon has time. He sets up in the shotgun. Ernest Givens is in the game with 26 receptions, averaging 19 yards a catch. Long ball downfield, and again it's tipped, intercepted. Barnes comes down with the ball. Jeff Barnes, and the Raiders have intercepted Warren Moon twice, and the Raiders have the ball at the 37-yard line of Houston.
Don, if Warren Moon has a problem in throwing the ball, it's the touch passes. That one he was trying to get over James Davis, number 45. We should be able to see this. Davis gets his hand on the ball, tips it up in the air, and Jeff Barnes right there to make the interception. Moon's first interception, he was blitzed by Turan. It stopped his arm. The second one, ball tipped. Once again, Raiders excellent field position to start a drive.
Warren Moon has confidence down. He needs something good to happen, and it hasn't today. He's thrown 7 touchdown passes this season. He's been intercepted now 15 times, 2 today. Wilson wants to get more right away. Hester's in the end zone. Free ball is incomplete. Coverage ruled clean. Nice looking throw by Wilson, but the coverage was good.
Patrick Allen on the coverage. The difference between that one and the interference before, Don, was that watch the defensive back. When Hester gets by him, and that's an excellent move, watch when Allen looks back. He reads the receiver's eyes, and the officials are going to allow contact like that when both are looking at the football.
The interceptions have been a big factor in the the Oilers' unsuccessful season. They have only 3 interceptions, the Oilers on defense, while they've thrown 15 on offense. McCallum on 2nd down and 10. Doesn't get much. He gets it to the 33-yard line. 7-0 Raiders here at Houston. Now let's go to Ahmad Rashad at NFL 86. Ahmad?
All right, Don. In Pittsburgh, quarterback Mark Malone, he loses one tackler and then finds Rich Ehrenberg in the end of the end zone. Great catch. Pittsburgh leads 10-0 second quarter.
Thank you, Ahmad. We have 57 seconds and the clock running in the first quarter here at the Astrodome. The Raiders looking for their 5th consecutive victory. The Oilers, who've been close, looking to avert a 7th consecutive loss. Raiders now with 3rd down and 6. Los Angeles is in the lead 7-0. Too much on it for Christensen out at the 21-yard line. Wilson sees the end of that play from flat on his back.
Oilers came with a 4-man rush. Good coverage down the field. Wilson just threw it out of bounds.
Interesting, Trump. The Oilers have more yards, more first downs, a better average per play. But they're 1-6.
Jerry Glanville says, too, the problem is that
That's against all their opponents. Not today. They don't have those dominations.
until you win, you can't improve. And they're just right now standing still with all this talent and with all the effort. They're still not producing what they want, and that's a win.
Ray Guy hits it down into the end zone for a touchback, so the Oilers get a possession. Now they'll start at their 20-yard line.
Fight starts up.
People start up briefly. Tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, Game 7 of the 1986 World Series is scheduled to begin on NBC Sports. Last night might have been one of the all-timers. I think it was, as the Mets came down 3-0 in the bottom of the 9th inning and came back, or 2 runs down the bottom of the 9th and came back to win it. But right now the report is it is very, very heavy rain in the metropolitan New York area. Whether or not Game 7 will be played tonight is in question. Right now it's still on. We'll keep updating you. Of course, if it's delayed tonight, that could mean the Red Sox would go with Bruce Hurst again.
What a game.
Penalty markers again as the Raiders misfire in another motion penalty.
That's against the Houston Oilers.
Or the Houston Oilers, excuse me.
Trying to go with a quick count. Glanville has seen this all too often through the first 7 games of this season. Look at there. Raiders normally
6 penalties.
Raiders normally the most penalized team in the NFL today. Nothing.
Tell you, it's rule number 1 in offense, isn't it? Wait for the snap count.
Yeah, you're supposed to.
6 penalties against the Oilers in the first quarter. Mike Rozier turns the corner and takes the penalty or the punt from Jerry Robinson, who comes over and gets him, the outside linebacker. Robinson's been playing great football. 2 more people start up now.
It's Matt Millen and Kent Hill. Boys will be boys. These are men.
Kent Hill, the former All-Pro of the Rams, part of that big trade that sent the rights to quarterback Jim Everett to the Los Angeles Rams.
From behind the offense, we haven't seen anything yet. This is an excellent job of running by Rozier, and also an excellent job of defense by Jerry Robinson. Stringing it out, making the tackle at the sideline.
2/3 of Houston's yards this season have come throwing the ball. Today, in 12 previous plays, they've passed it 10 times, run just twice. Rozier on 2nd and long gets out to the 24-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down and about 6.
And that's one of the things about this Raider defense. Whatever you try to do, your staple on offense, they try to take away first. And through the initial stages of this first quarter, they've just flat shut down the running game of the Houston Oilers. So as the game goes on, if you're Houston, you have less confidence in that running offense. You can start throwing all the time.
That's the gun, the end of the first quarter. Raiders 7, Houston nothing.
A coach has stood the test of that. It's Tom Landry.
Tom Landry was always a man ahead of his time. He pioneered the flex defense and brought back the shotgun formation as Dallas opened fire on the NFL. Through the years, the numbers may change, but Tom Landry's equations always make him a winner.
Nobody's really
I think we're
burning
going to
it
send
up.
off to Canton, Ohio for one quarter of play, but the Raiders have the lead 7-0.
Moon has had 4 deflected passes out of 10 attempts, and 2 have been intercepted. And he's a tall quarterback. I mean, he's not a midget quarterback.
6'3", 210. Out of the University of Washington. Bad snap. He can really throw it a long way if need be. Another tip ball. Lester Hayes comes in on the coverage. The hit was on Drew Hill, and it's timed just right. No foul call. And so, 4th down arises. The Oilers have to punt the ball.
Now, let me tell you another thing. Once that ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage, there can be pass interference anywhere. That's a free ball. You can take a free shot at a receiver. Piquel again, his 3rd of the day. 3rd time he tips the ball. There you see 71. Hit that guy on the ground.
Lee Johnson, a 43-yard try punter, hits it downfield, and Fulton Walker takes it at the 36. Here's a marker down.
We got 3 flags.
39-yard punt and a 7-yard return.
Illegal man downfield and holding. They take the bigger penalty of the 2.
2 fouls on the offense. Ineligible downfield, number 51. Holding, number 93. Both fouls are declined. First up.
Raiders wave off the penalty call as we again look at the scoreboard. Jets have now rallied to take a 7-6 lead over the Saints in the second quarter. Bears continue to lead the Lions. New England still up on Buffalo. 49ers have put up a touchdown. Miami has gone in front again of the Indianapolis Colts. Eagles badly in need of a win. A lot of conversation in Philadelphia. Not a lot of victories, though. First down carry, Napoleon McCallum. And the Houston defense cuts him down at the 45-yard line. Robert Abraham shot the gap, made the stop. Short gain, 2nd and 8.
On the Raiders start this drive at their own 43-yard line. You realize that's, other than the opening kickoff, the worst field position that the Raiders have had in this first half today. And they've had it on the plus side 3 times already.
Mark Wilson came into the game with an 82 quarterback rating. He now has 8 touchdown throws this season, including today's to Andy Parker. He has 6 interceptions. Second down, he needs it. Going for it all. Down to Dopey Williams. Fine coverage on the play by Steve Brown. Stride for stride, and Williams had to recover to knock the ball away from Steve Brown. Steve Brown from the University of Oregon. His sister's a regular on the hit show Miami Vice. Sister Olivia. He's been on it.
Right down here at the bottom of the screen. It is excellent coverage. Wilson now 3 of 9, just 16 yards. And Don, it's pretty obvious when they throw in the intermediate range, they throw to Christensen or the back. When they throw it deep, they just heave it way downfield to their wide receivers. They very seldom are involved in the game 12 to 15 yards deep.
Puts it on the helmet and the face mask. Wilson has now thrown the ball 9 times. He's completed just 3 for 16 yards, but 1 was for 1 yard and a touchdown. The game's only score. Big rush. Wilson goes down hard. Here's a penalty marker coming in from the back judge.
So Easton gets him on the blitz from the weak safety spot. It's against Houston. Here we go again. That's their 7th penalty now.
7th has been taken.
Illegal use of the hands, a jam to the face, 25, defense, first down.
Bostic.
It's on Christensen. There you see the hand. And once again, it's on a 3rd down. It's an automatic first down. The 7th penalty taken, you're right, by the Los Angeles Raiders today. Look at that.
They get more yards against them on penalties than their offense has generated. McCallum wisely with both arms on the ball. These Raider blockers give him a little room. But he gets not very much on a first down carry. They're actually going to spot it for a gain of only a yard.
I'll tell you, there's nobody that spends more time trying to play professional football. You think it's a snap, and he's got a great deal. How'd you like to have that schedule every day?
A lot of guys would. $800,000 signing bonus, didn't he?
Well, yeah, I imagine he pops for lunch or two at the Officers Club down at
You asked
Long
for
Beach.
3,000 men on the Peleliu if they'd like to play for the Raiders.
Peleliu.
Dropping the throw is Mark Wilson. Second down and 9. Wide open is Hester. And Jesse Hester is out of bounds at the 19-yard line, a 32-yard gain. Hester only his 11th reception, but he makes some big ones. He's averaging 24 yards a catch, and that was for a lot more than that.
Don, this looks like zone coverage by the Houston Oilers. That is, you cover area, you don't cover man. And with these young players in the Houston Oilers defense, that's the most difficult defense for them to play. Keith Bostic was the closest guy, and he wasn't close enough to call him in coverage. First down Raiders. Once again, drive extended. Raiders take advantage of it, and the Houston Oilers are their own worst enemy.
And ironically, the Oilers are not that far from being a pretty darn good football team. They don't know it, though. Here's a throw down inside to the 15-yard line. Jesse Hester coming back at the ball is knocked down quickly by Steve Brown. Raiders lead at 7-0. We have 12:30 to play and the clock running in the second quarter. It's raining in New York. Game 7 of the World Series is still on, but it could be in doubt if the rain keeps up.
2 out, 2 down, 2 strikes, and they win.
It's Gary Carter, the engine in the Mets offense. Christensen heading for the end zone, and he's in. Todd Christensen scores his second touchdown of the season on a 14-yard reception. His 40th catch of the year, gets it in.
The linebacker, Grimsley, had the coverage. You see Bostic, 25, picks him up first, and then Bostic blitzes. Turns him over to Grimsley, playing right into the Raiders' hands. Christensen made the comment to me the last time we did the Raiders. He said it's the first time we'd ever done a game when he didn't score. He says, I'll get one today.
Last touchdown was in the opening game against the Broncos, that 2-point loss. Raiders looking to avenge that a week from today when they play the Broncos at the LA Coliseum.
Don, both scores now by the Raiders. Remember, third down penalty on Houston extends the drive. Raiders get in the end zone twice.
Extra point of the day, ready to kick it off as the Raiders, you see, in command, 14-0. 2 Wilson touchdown passes. First to Andy Parker from the yard out, the last from 14 yards out to Todd Christensen.
And this way it's gone for the Oilers today. 3 plays and an interception in their first drive, 4 plays and a punt, 2 plays and an interception, 3 plays and a punt. Warren Moon is 0 for his last 6. He's also had 2 interceptions and 5 deflections, 3 by Bikel. Nothing's going right for the Houston Oilers offense.
Bears' only touchdown today came on a fumble return by a linebacker, Wilbur Marshall. Now the Oilers try again. Warren Moon has been intercepted twice today. Another ball in the air. I tell you, it's living dangerously every time this guy puts it up.
Reggie McKenzie had great coverage that time on Jamie Williams. I'm surprised Moon tried to get that ball in there, but at least it wasn't deflected, so you look for little things.
Warren Moon, a young man who was most valuable player in the Rose Bowl in '78 when Washington upset Michigan 27-20. He was not drafted in the NFL, went to Canada, where he became one of the all-time greats. One year he passed for over 5,600 yards and over 30 touchdowns. Came here at over $1 million a season, a bidding war. Worked out well, but he wasn't drafted. But he's been up and down as an Oiler player, and now they go to the run on 2nd and 10, and there's not much there against a tough Raider defense. McKenzie filled and hit him. Warren Moon had a spectacular preseason, as you know, Trump, though. Consequently, the Oilers were able to trade their top draft choice. The wisdom of that is now in question. Jim Everett of Purdue went to the L.A. Rams. They thought Moon was going to have a big season here in Houston. That's not happened so far.
The thing about Moon, though, Don, is he's this year learning his 4th offense in 4 years. That's not easy for any quarterback.
2 head coaches and 3 offensive coordinators in his 3 years here. Warren Moon throws a strike to Ernest Givens, and Lester Hayes puts a shot on him. That's the first catch by the standout rookie Ernest Givens from Louisville.
Tell you what, though, the kid gets up. Now, see, once again, you see a change in the Raider defense. Normally, Lester Hayes is right up on Givens. But finally, he comes from out of nowhere. The Raiders are going with a great deal more zone, or at least not playing that bump and run. Very atypical of a Raider defense.
7-yard pickup. It's good for a first down. Givens is averaging 19 yards a catch. He's caught 27 now this season. He's not big, but he's extremely fast. Has run under 4.3, and he's a great leaper. On first down, the Oilers take it straight at Los Angeles. Sean Jones knocks down Mike Rozier. I saw Ernest Givens on the field before the game. Trump said, "I heard you're a tremendous leaper, can really get up." He said, "Anything Spud Webb can do, I can do."
Spud's 5'7", though. Givens is 5'9".
Yeah, I don't think he is.
Really? He can play. He's the kind of player that Jerry Glanville is looking for. Line up every down, take that punishment, come back for more.
He was responsible for thousands of yards at Louisville. He did everything. Ran the ball, averaged over 11 yards a carry one year. Caught the ball, caught 67 one year. 1,400 yards. Turn kickoffs, punts. Rozier runs. They're still waiting for Mike Rozier to break it loose to show his Heisman Trophy form that he had at Nebraska.
I'll tell you one thing, Bill Pickel is having a career half. He made that tackle. Romano, the center, who was just off the injury reserve list. See, right at the top of the screen, 71. He takes the other side of Romano, and he's there to make the tackle. He's doing an outstanding job so far in this first half.
Big Raiders tee it up and get ready to come on 3rd and long. 3rd and about 6. Pass rush is coming. It's coming hard, and Warren Moon's is sacked back at the 15-yard line. They blew him dead at the 15.
First of the day, that was a combination sack. Greg Townsend flushed him first, and then Bill Pickel cleaned it up. Watch what happens. The game. Pickel steps up to draw the block of Hill. Townsend flushes him. He beats 70 Steinkuhler. Moon's got no place to go, a loss of 16 yards.
Okay, these Raiders were really up before this game down on the field. They weren't looking at this as like an automatic W and let's go play Denver. Hit downfield, and it's taken by Fulton Walker at the 39-yard line, and he darts out to the 44. 5-yard return.
There's no flag here, Don. I don't believe it.
Bill Pickel from Rutgers, all-pro quality player. In overall yards, Raiders have 103. Oilers have 78. But the Raiders have the big number, 14 on the scoreboard, nothing at all for the Oilers. So many of their drives all the way downfield, and they come away with nothing but disappointment. Now a handoff to Frank Hawkins. He's out to the 46-yard line, and that's it. 1 yard. Childress and Bird, the defensive ends for the Oilers, got him.
Field position always important in a game. The Raiders, their field position at their own 26 on the first drive, then the Oilers 39, then the Raiders 19, then the Oilers 36, and the Raiders 43, and now the Raiders 45.
Another big factor the Raiders have going for them in their drive for the playoffs. This is their 5th road game in the first 8 games of the season. So they'll be at home at the Coliseum much of the second half, including against Denver next week, and there are tickets still available for that game, Denver and the Raiders. Incomplete on 2nd and 8, so that brings up 3rd and long now for Mark Wilson and the Los Angeles Raiders. Doug Smith came in and put the rush on him.
He's a guy they're waiting for. Bostic back in the ballgame. He was replaced by Jeff Donaldson. Bostic is their strong safety. He was beaten by Todd Christensen for the touchdown maybe Jerry Glanville had him sit and think for a couple of minutes. And then you see Mark Wilson looking to the sideline for the play calling.
Wilson's passing numbers not impressive except when they count. Down close, he's gotten into the end zone twice for scores. Well, Willie Note. Right arm was coming forward, I think ruled incorrectly. Jorgensen, the referee, right on the play. Abraham, 56, came through, a linebacker, and made the hit.
On the
good look at it.
On the replay, you see him gaming up front. Childress going all over. Abraham coming inside. Frank Hawkins. That's a good call. Arm was going forward.
And a fine second look. Our producer today for NBC Sports is Glenn Adamo. Our director, Richard Klein. We have 7:58 to play in the first half, and the Raiders are leading the Oilers 14-0. Now Ray Guy has to punt it again. Punted over 24 miles in the National Football League.
"37-yard punt by Ray Guy. Gets it down into the end zone. Houston Oilers will start. No penalties on that exchange, either by the Raiders or by the Houston Oilers.
Be sure and stay tuned for the second half of today's doubleheader as the Seattle Seahawks at 5-2 head into Mile High Stadium. Face the Western Division leaders, the Denver Broncos. Doubleheader day on NBC Sports, and a standout doubleheader game it is. And then next week, it gets mean in the Coliseum as the Broncos head back in for the rematch with the Raiders after the 38-36 opening day victory by Denver. Down also where Warren Moon went down. There's also penalty markers where the ball came down.
They're going to be offsetting. Looks like it's going to be. No, wait a minute. I think they're going to call offensive pass interference and holding against the Houston Oilers.
That's who the penalties are on in this game. And you can just sense the Houston confidence ebbing. They came in ready to play the Raiders. Things went wrong, including a call early in the game that would seem to have been a Houston fumble recovery. And the glum expression of Jerry Glanville reflects a long day at the Astrodome again.
2 penalties against the offense. Offensive interference, 81. Decline. Holding, 33. Accepted. Still first down.
That holding call was against Mike Rozier. He was trying to pass protect against Rod Martin, 53 on the blitz. The Houston Oilers' 8th penalty of the first half.
Jets, after trailing 6-0, now up 14-6. Miami extending its lead on Indianapolis. Right here in the Astrodome, it is the Raiders 14, the Houston Oilers nothing. On 1st and 20. Oilers try to get a little room to go, and there's not much there as the dominating Los Angeles defense, which grades out second in the NFL through 7 games behind the New York Giants, again stuffs the run as the game clock winds down in the second quarter.
The Raiders now shutting down that first down run. They put the Houston Oilers in a position where they've got to throw, and that's what the Raiders want. Any opportunity to turn loose their pass rush. They come in with Townsend, Jones, Piquel, and Long. That's exactly the diet that the Los Angeles Raiders want for their defense.
Oiler offense is not diverse. Rozier's been their only rusher today. 7 carries for 23. Long ball, open man, first down to Drew Hill out to the 36-yard line. So Warren Moon shows his good stuff on that throw, and Drew Hill, small and quick, is 23 yards downfield on a 2nd and 17 play.
Excellent pass protection here. You see, it looks like people helping out. Alan Pinkett gets a block. Nice catch. Stacy Turan knocks him out. That's a big first down for the Oilers. Any little thing will give them some confidence, give them some momentum.
These little Oiler wide receivers, though, when they catch and are getting hit, look like balls in a pinball machine. They're being popped all over that secondary by the big Raider defenders. Big rush. Warren Moon fires another strike. This is Ernest Givens. And he's down to the 43-yard line. And look at those Raiders come up and hit. But Givens, the much talked about little wide receiver, picks up 21 yards with his second catch of the day.
Don, we mentioned earlier that the crossing patterns against this Raider defense generally work. Turan on the inside loses sight of Givens. The Raiders are playing more zone down than I've seen them in any half so far this season, and we've seen them in 4 games. This is our 4th game. But watch Van McElroy get Givens on the ground. Thump.
Givens prides himself on his ability to catch the ball over the middle. A lot of people won't go in there. 5'9", 168 pounds.
Reverse.
Givens, look out. Look at Ernest Givens, tear it loose. Givens isn't down. He's going to go the distance. No markers are down. And Ernest Givens is in the end zone, 43 yards downfield for a touchdown. We talked at the outset that a great one could be on the scene, and now Ernest Givens puts on a show here at the Astrodome. What a player.
Warren Moon kind of gets out in front here. You see him at the top of the screen.
Hey, Jerry Robinson's fast. He couldn't get near him when he had a shot at him.
Breaks the tackle of Stacy Turan, then accelerates. Almost caught at the end of this. He can't believe it. I bet about now he's saying, oh, no, I'll bet there's a penalty, but there is no penalty.
So the Oilers get the big play they've needed so badly and get back in the game as Tony Zendejas kicks the extra point. And with 5:51 to play in the first half, it's a 14-7 game. The Raiders in the lead, but the Oilers' confidence could be up now. A 43-yard end around for a touchdown. And the Oilers are in the game despite a lot of mistakes.
They're absolutely right. 2 turnovers, interceptions, and 8 penalties, and they're still only down by 7 points, so things could be a lot worse.
Here's the kickoff now, and Johnson booms it through the end zone, so the Raiders will start at their 20, and here comes Mojo.
Mojo's a little slower after that tee than he used to be a number of years
What's
ago.
this now? Yes, just like we like it at the Astrodome. They call the man Mojo. He's been a long-time part of the Houston Oilers organization. And after they score, that's what he does. He goes out and gets the kicking tee. And if any producers in Hollywood are looking, he is available.
You can tell the Oilers haven't scored a lot of points. Mojo's been hitting a lot of peanuts there on the sideline. The replay. Whoa.
It doesn't look like Bart Connor.
No, it doesn't.
Raiders now as the crowd starts up. Wilson gets time and lofts it down to Mahoney and McCallum. And he's out to the 42-yard line. It's a first down for the Raiders on a 22-yard gain.
Johnny Means in coverage. Raiders have long relied on their running backs to catch the ball very well. Marcus Allen, a superb pass receiver. That time with good pass protection. Mark Wilson put a good touch on the ball. McCallum just behind the defender for a first down.
Marcus would love to be in there, but he's resting that troubled ankle right now, hoping to be ready to go full speed on grass at the Coliseum next Sunday against the Denver Broncos. McCallum in his place, and McCallum gets the ball again. Richard Byrd shoots the gap. Big defensive end drafted in the second round from Southern Mississippi. Half the Oiler players have been drafted in the first 3 rounds. They're quality individuals in this team, by and large. That fine art of winning, though, is something that's eluded them.
Going to continue, too. They have 2 first-round draft choices in '87 and 2 first-round draft choices in '88.
Al Locasale of the Raiders says if you ever want to see a guy that looks like could be a poster man for the Navy, we want you. It's Napoleon McCallum in his whites. Very handsome young man. That's what they're supposed to look like, those naval officers. Here's a throw now by Mark Wilson downfield, and Hester makes a first down catch for the Raiders. He has the ball at the 44-yard line. 14-yard gain.
Patrick Allen in coverage. This is nice for the Raiders because they get Hester involved in the offense, not just heading for the end zone. Catches the ball across the middle in traffic, something they can build on, something they're hoping for. out of Jesse Hester a lot of times before his career is over.
Oilers finally, after all those earlier disappointments, finally get it in the end zone. And now, with 3:45 to play and the Raiders leading 14-7, Mark Wilson goes on a first down throw. Big one. Loop ball to Frank Hawkins, and he loses it at the 18-yard line.
Look at Frank Hawkins' hands. For blocking, he tapes his hands up and wears those pads. He is not a pass receiver that the Raiders go to very often. He's got 16 catches so far this season, but it really makes him tough. It really makes it tough for him to hang on to the ball. You see he goes right through there. This ball hits him right to where it's supposed to hit him. In the hands. Bo Eason and Johnny Meads kind of come together. That should have been a catch. It's Grimsley and Bo Eason, 59 and 21.
Reminder to our viewers that we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion of the game. Wilson on 2nd and 10. Throwing a free ball. It's incomplete at the 23. Bo Eason, the free safety, whose brother Tony quarterbacks New England, was nearest to the ball as the fellows start up again after the play.
And this time it's the Raider offense and the Houston Oilers defense. Generally, it's the Raider defense that starts and finishes things on the field.
Vikings up on the Cleveland Browns, and Pittsburgh coming off that disaster last weekend with New England when the Patriots routed them 34-0, up 17-3 on favored Cincinnati. Bears extend their lead to 10-0 over Detroit. And New England's up 10-0 on Buffalo. New England's as good as any team we've seen. This is the 18th game we've done this year, either on television or NBC radio.
When they're on, they are absolutely fantastic.
They're the best we've seen when they're on. But they're not on every week.
That's the problem. 3rd and 10 now. Houston's got to avoid a penalty.
Third and 10, and McCallum breaks it, but not enough for a first down. Here's a free ball. They rule him. He's down, though. He'll be just short of the first down. It was a 3rd and 10 play, and he got about 9.
Now, down in the NFL is when your knee hits the ground and the turf cannot cause a fumble. He's down, and the ball is loose. That's no fumble. Good call. That does not make up for the one in the first quarter, though.
Official ruling we got was that in the booth they saw it as a fumble and recovery by Houston, but from the field came word that one of the officials had blown the whistle prior to the fumble. So the Raiders maintained possession. This was back in the first quarter when they subsequently went in to score the game's first touchdown.
This is a good punt. This is a great one.
Down to the 4-yard line, perfectly angled by Ray Guy. At halftime, we'll be going to NFL 86 in New York for a complete update as the season goes to the halfway point today. Ray Guy, 2 punts now short of 1,000 for his career.
Still the only punter ever drafted in the first round in the NFL. Am I correct? That's
right.
That's what they thought of Ray Guy's talents. He's not disappointed them.
Tremendous athlete. That was his 1,000th career punt. At halftime at NFL 86, we'll be hearing from Paul Hornung along with Bob, Ahmad, and Paul. The Golden Boy into the Hall of Fame this year. Into the College Football Hall of Fame a year prior to that.
And in court the year before that.
And he won the suit with the NCAA.
And he won the suit.
The gleam is back on the Golden Boy. Dropping. Long ball. Intercepted at the 49, and Sam Steele still alive. And he is down to the 35-yard line. Now they're going to rule that he's down at the 50. It was an interception, the third of the day in the first half of Warren Moon. But they rule that Steele was down where he intercepted the ball at the 50, and so with 2:40 to play, Raiders get it back.
And Warren Moon has slow up for this ball. If Warren Moon airs that thing out, I think they've got a completion because Drew Hill's got Seal and McElroy beaten. But it ends up being the third interception of the day for the Raiders.
And the 16th of the season for Warren Moon, who's thrown for just 7 touchdowns.
He was down, Don, because all you got to do once he's down is put your hand on him as an offensive player, defensive player is considered tackled.
Raiders will be trying now to get more before halftime. McCallum likes to get the ball a lot. He's been getting it a lot today, running it straight at Houston. He's to their 46-yard line. Mike Golick, the nose tackle, was on the stop. His brother's a starting nose tackle and a Pro Bowl player, Bob Golick of the Cleveland Browns.
I wonder what their parents did to them when they were young to make them grow up to be nose tackles. You don't mistreat them, I realize. Maybe they locked them in their room for an extended period of time.
You mean like making a dog mean kind of?
Yeah, something like that.
Bob Golick said the one thing about a nose tackle, people are amazed when you can read and write and talk. I think you're something out of Neanderthal times. 2 minutes to play in the first half of the Astrodome. We'll be back with the Raiders leading by 7. Important drive now for the Los Angeles Raiders. If they get point 2, they could put the game away, at least the way the Oilers have played in previous games. But if the Oilers can stop, they'll be right in it.
Don, I agree with you totally. With the 8 penalties the Oilers have had in the first half and the 3 turnovers, still trailing by just 7 points, they can go in feeling good about themselves, which are very, very important for a team like Houston if they can stop them. Keep the Raiders from scoring points in this drive with just under 2 minutes left.
Wilson to Dokie Williams. He can fly. Oilers got their only touchdown on a similar play when Givens took it in from 43 yards out.
Good
this
job.
Time the Oilers shut it down.
Don, excuse me. Good job done by Jeff Donaldson. He was not fooled one bit. He's the safety you've got to keep in your lanes. And watch Eason, 21, bottom of the screen. He sees the handoff, and then Donaldson, 31, along with Brown, 24, right out there to slow him up. And then the big guys come in and make the tackle. Golick and Bird.
Mosbar, Don Mosbar, number 72, the Raiders center, is one of the most highly regarded players in the league at his position, down over the ball. Hanna and Marvin as guards. Davis and Lawrence, the Raider tackles. Heavy pass blocking now, and 3rd down and 5. Looking for Christensen now with the game clock down to 1:02.
Too much time.
Too much time is called on Los Angeles.
What Houston was doing, they had 10 guys up at the line of scrimmage. Wilson was trying to come with an audible, probably just to pop somebody through there. That's the Raiders' first penalty of the day, Don. Well, this is where Houston's got to pretty much throw the book at them. Any blitz they can think of or come up with, they've got to stop them. He points off the board at the end of this first half. Quite a disparity.
Hughes, 8 for 65. Flags against the Raiders, or against the Oilers. Now it is 3rd down and 10 for the Raiders. Big rush on Wilson. Stands right in and throws it. Strike for a first down to the 33-yard line. Dokie Williams off the right flank. Post pattern, 17 and a first down.
As we spoke before, you sacrifice coverage when you go with the blitz, and Dokie Williams just turned Steve Brown every which way but loose. Easy completion for Wilson. Big first down. Raiders drive extends.
An investment.
For 17 yards and a Raider first down as Los Angeles continues to lead the game 14-7. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. 52 seconds to play at the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. The Raiders hoping that Seattle knocks off Denver, that the Raiders win here. And after a 3-0-3 start, they make the turn into the second half of the season. 1 game out in their division. Although Al Davis said before the game, the real key is the 5 teams that are ahead of you in the bid for the playoffs. Those are the teams you have to beat out. Only 5 to go. Christensen, his second of the day. Somehow he does it time and again. Todd Christensen, all-pro tight end of the Los Angeles Raiders, slips free. Second touchdown catch of this day. His 3rd of the season. That one good for 32 yards as the Raiders lead it 20-7.
He gets a free release, fakes the out and up, and Jeff Donaldson, 31, is the man that fights. Grimsley's on the inside. He is not the man in coverage. That's on Jeff Donaldson, 31, the safety. If you don't hold a guy like Christensen up at the line of scrimmage, he'll kill you. He'll kill anybody, not just the Houston Oilers.
Big day for Christensen. 4 catches for 60 yards, 2 for touchdowns. .46 seconds to play in the half. Chris Barr hits the point after, and the Raiders extend their lead to 21-7. Back with the Raider kickoff after this. Kicks off again with the Raiders in the lead, 21-7, 46 seconds to play in the half. Alan Pinkett, a rookie from Notre Dame, a third-round draft choice on the field for the first time, takes it out to the 26-yard line.
Don, back to that touchdown. Watch what happens. 46 is Christensen. Meade, the linebacker, that's all he does to hold him up. This guy's averaged 80 catches a season for the previous 3 seasons. You turn him loose on a kid like Donaldson, he's got no chance whatsoever. The linebacker, you get him to the ground. You make him stumble a little bit. You take him out of the pass route. If he's free and clear, that guy will catch 10 touchdown passes against you.
2 today. Look at his numbers. NBC statistician Dennis Mnuchin pointing out now that 2 of Warren Moon's 3 interceptions have been subsequently turned into 14 Raider points. And that's their margin of lead right now. They're up 21-7. Moon to Pinkett, who lost the ball. Ruled incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Oilers.
I think they're going to give that to him, Don.
They are.
Unfortunately, though, with the new rule in the NFL, the ball is fumbled out of bounds. He went back about 4 yards, so it's going to end up being about a 2-yard gain. 2nd foot down with control of the ball. 1, 2. He's got it. And then the ball is punched loose by Barnes, but where the ball rolls back is where the officials place it on the field. Ends up being a 1.5 yard gain. Now, no more in the NFL do you take the forward progress when the ball is fumbled out of bounds. It goes where the ball is fumbled out of bounds.
Low snap again to Moon. Boy, he can fire that ball. He gets it out to Willie Drury. He's got a first down, but time's a wasting. 27 seconds left as the Oilers call a timeout. James Davis was covering on the play. 2 of the best Los Angeles players in uniform but not in action. Mike Haynes, their all-pro cornerback, is out again with a strained leg muscle. Marcus Allen is sitting out today's game, at least so far. He too in uniform, but Napoleon McCallum doing well running the ball.
So far, the Los Angeles Raiders' best player has been the Houston Oilers team on penalties.
Vikings are for real, going to a 6-2 mark at the turn if they win today. Altoona of the Jets just caught a 68-yard touchdown pass from Ken O'Brien. Jets extending their lead. Bears with a 10-point advantage on the Lions at halftime. New England, an unbelievable team when they hit the go button, routing Buffalo 17-0 in the 2nd quarter. Green Bay holding to a slight 7-point lead over the favored 49ers. We're 27 seconds from halftime here at the Astrodome. At halftime, we'll be going to NFL 86 in New York. A report on the World Series in Game 7 scheduled tonight, although, as we mentioned earlier, a lot of rain in New York today. It could be postponed. Bob Ahmad and Paul are there, and so's another Paul. Paul Horning with Paul McGuire. Bob Costas and Ahmad Rashad is right now. It is 1st and 10 with 27 seconds left in the half. Tipped ball, good coverage by 45, James Davis of the Raiders.
And you know, that's the first pass thrown in the direction of Tim Smith of the Houston Oilers. This kid is a real favorite here in Houston. Got over 150 balls over the last 3 seasons, but Dick Jamieson, the offensive coordinator of the Oilers, and Jerry Glanville have said this kid's just not fast enough or quick enough. And much to the chagrin of Houston Oilers fans, he's not had any receptions so far this year.
From the shotgun, as you see, 21 seconds left. Townsend coming hard, and Townsend gets his man.
Piquel's got it, Don.
Yes, he does. But Greg Townsend hunting the quarterback, gets him. And the ball is back in the Raiders' hands with 15 seconds to play, and they're in field goal range already for Chris Barr.
On that looked like that Townsend ran around outside of Dean Steinkuhler on the right. You'll see him come from the right in just a second. There he is, strips the ball away. Piquel on Kent Hill, 72. Piquel right there. He has had a monstrous first half. Deflected 3 passes. Comes up with a fumble recovery. And the Raiders can put more points on the board. Look at here. What a half. What a half by Bill Piquel.
Now the Raiders take a look deep. Long ball going down to Doki Williams, and he has it on his hands, but loses it 2 yards deep in the end zone. Mo Eason and Patrick Allen covering, but they were astride behind the super fast Doki Williams from UCLA.
That was awful close. The Oilers came with the game up front and the blitz, once again single coverage, and he stretches out. Look, his shirt is already down over his shoulder pad when he's running that pattern. You don't think somebody pulled that down there, do you?
Could happen.
Just kind of fell down there, did it? Try one more shot and take the field goal. This one's got to go in the end zone.
I think they're going on an out pattern just to get it down close.
Throw it in the end zone.
Trying to get out of bounds. Wilson looking. He does go into the end zone. Jesse Hester goes for the ball. It's incomplete, and so the Raiders will try a long field goal with 3 seconds left in the half.
Steve Brown in coverage. It looked like Hester, once he got to the end zone, slowed down. Chris Barr will be on. So far this season, Chris Barr has been very good. He's hit 12 of 13. I told him before the game, I said, "You're kicking like a kid." He says, "I've been lucky." I said, "Where's the luck?" And he says, "I've made most that I've kicked."
He really has. He's having a good year, Chris Barr. Came in with 12 of 13 field goal attempts made. He hit a 49-yarder that came off the board when the Raiders got a penalty first down, and now he's wide. But they don't count the 49-yarder. They take it down, and this one's just a bit wide, and that's the final play of the first half. The Raiders capitalize. Made that an awful lot of people don't know the snap count.
It's not just the penalties either. 3 interceptions by Warren Moon, 2 sacks. Bill Piquel has had a heck of a first half, but look at these negatives. 2 interceptions resulted in 14 points. The 7 pass deflections, they are a real mystery to me. Piquel's got 3. Warren Moon is not a short quarterback. He's 6 feet 3 inches tall, and the 8 penalties. The Houston Oilers just keep shooting themselves in the foot.
Halftime numbers, such as they are, neither team with any dominant offensive totals. The Raiders with 199 total yards, the Oilers with 159. But look at the interceptions. Turnovers, 3 interceptions of Warren Moon and none of Mark Wilson. 2 of those interceptions were turned into Raider touchdowns.
And there's another negative for the Houston Oilers. They do not have a first down rushing. Even with 66 yards rushing in the first half, they do not have a first down rushing. So they've had to go with the pass, and through deflections, the Raiders have come up with those 3 interceptions.
And so we're set now for the opening kickoff of the third quarter, and Chris Barr will kick it off as Jerry Glanville counsels running back Mike Rozier, who's had the ball virtually every running down for the Oilers. Chris Barr into the ball. 2 Fleet Oilers are back deep. This is Drury at the 10. He's out to the 22. The Oilers have some very small players. Drury's one of them. They list him at 5'9", but they look like they're 5'6" or 7" when you're down next to him on the field. But they have the one ingredient you can't teach or put in no matter how you try, and that's speed. 2 things you can't coach, speed and luck. The Oilers have none of the latter.
They have bad luck.
I guess they do.
They have no good luck, that's for sure. Tim Smith in the ballgame now as a wide receiver for the Houston Oilers.
Tim Smith has caught over 80 passes 3 years ago, then over 60, and in the 40s last year, but he's virtually played not at all this season. Trying to get more speed in the lineup. Now they go to the run, and there's not much there. Jim Romano, an ex-Raider out of Penn State, is the center for the Houston Oilers, a very strong motivator. He fires up his team, has been out with an injury back today. Eric Moran's in at left guard for a player that some regard as the best offensive guard in football, Mike Munchak, who's out with a knee injury. He'll be back this season. The ex-Ram All-Pro who came in as part of the deal that sent Everett, the quarterback, to the L.A. Rams, Kent Hill, is at right guard. Steinkuhler, number 70 at the right tackle. Got every award a lineman can receive as an All-American in Nebraska. Outland Trophy, Lombardi Award. He's been troubled by a bad knee. Missed virtually all of 2 seasons. The other tackle is Bruce Matthews, a number 1 draft choice from Southern California. So there's quality in the front. But the Raiders might have more in their defensive line.
That time the defensive line took care of Rozier too. Howie Long slowed him up. Bill Pickel made the first shot, and Sean Jones makes the tackle. So it's 3rd down and about, let's make it 5, maybe 6.
Lester Hayes has done a feasibility study of the Raiders' chances. We're going to get to that in a moment. Third down, and Moon and the Oilers need 7. He throws off the run, and it's dropped. Player hurt himself. Nobody hit him. Willie Drury must have fallen on the ball. Fallen on his arm. Drury had it and lost it when he hit the ground.
Looks like his shoulder, Don. The blitz is coming by the Raiders.
Is it?
You see Barnes 56 all over Moon. What's he do?
Yeah.
It looks like he lands right on his upper arm, right on his elbow. And that's the ball. That's the hand he was trying to catch it with. Incomplete pass, still being attended to by doctors and trainers on the field.
And this field, the Astrodome field at the original Dome Stadium, has all the give of a parking lot.
Yeah, they actually fixed it. You can see around the edge of the turf dirt. They used to lay the turf over dirt. A number of years ago, they put asphalt underneath here, and it made it a little better. But of all the turf fields, this is the worst.
Down on the field before the game, Al Cassell was complaining there was a board, one of the yard lines at about the 45-yard line. There's actually a board painted white, some AstroTurf on top of it. And he said, look at this, we have to play on this. I said, that's only for the Raiders. They put that down here when the Raiders come in. They have a tightly knitted field when anybody else comes in.
No, it's bad for everyone.
Everyone but the Stros. Astros, champions of the National League West. Willie Drury still down. He came down hard on his right shoulder going for a pass in the flat on 3rd down.
They're looking at his shoulder down up underneath his sleeve.
So Willie, a very important player to the Houston Astros, come up, and he's in a lot of pain.
Houston Oilers.
Houston Oilers. You know, it's not a good situation when people looking at him have ties on.
Never is. He's their punt return man and kickoff return man, too, so that hurts Houston all the more.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. There's the board we were talking about earlier. It is intended for the private use of our audience, and any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League and the Oilers is prohibited. Downfield punt by Johnson is taken by Fulton Walker of Los Angeles. Straight line, the shortest distance between 2 points, and Walker runs it straight ahead, 18 yards on the return. The scoreboard in the 3rd quarter. Browns get a touchdown, trail at Minneapolis 17-10. The underdog Steelers, not quitters, after being routed by New England a week ago, they're leading the heavily favored Cincinnati Bengals. New England, a team that laid waste to the Steelers, doing the same to the Bills at Buffalo. Now the Lions score on the Bears. It's a 10-7 game.
Stacey Turan slow in getting up.
(13-17) left to play in the 3rd quarter. Raiders have not played here since 1983. They're a bit wary of the Astrodome, are the Raiders. They've lost 2 of their last 3 games here. Hawkins on 1st and 10 gets to midfield, a 3-yard gain. Robert Abraham, a linebacker, got him for the Oilers. Robert Lyles, John Grimsby, Robert Abraham, and Johnny Meads are the backers for Houston. Up front, they have Ray Childress, Mike Golick, and Richard Byrd. Steve Brown and Patrick Allen are the corners. Keith Bostic and Bo Eason are the safeties. Now into the lineup. And Golick down over the nose tackle. Doug Smith and Golick have been alternating at nose tackle. On 2nd down and 8, Mark Wilson gets time and lofts a high ball underthrown to Jesse Hester. He catches it anyway, and he's not done till he's down inside the 10-yard line. 42-yard play, a badly thrown ball, but Hester was so wide open that Mark Wilson can't believe it.
He's got a smile on his face because almost looked as if Hester could have fair caught that one. Look how high in the air Wilson throws this when he's looking all over the field. The defensive back falls down. The man in coverage was Patrick Allen. Now it's going to look like Bo Eason was the man in coverage, but Patrick Allen, who had him man-to-man all over the field, tripped and fell on his own field. We just talked about that turf. 42-yard pickup. Now 4 catches, 92 yards for Hester.
He had only 10 in the first 7 games, only 10 receptions. The Raiders go to the run now. Take it straight ahead on a 1st and goal play. McCallum gets it down close to the 7-yard line. Could be lights out for the Oilers if the Raiders go in now with 12:19 to play in the 3rd quarter. Next for Houston, a trip to the Orange Bowl in Miami next Sunday to play the Miami Dolphins. The Raiders go back to the Coliseum to play the Denver Broncos. Tickets are still available for that game. It takes 92,000 for the Coliseum to be sold out. Swing to Hawkins off the hip catch. He's down to the 3-yard line. Robert Lyles ran him down as the Raiders are knocking on the end zone again.
Don, let me tell you, the Raiders got away with an illegal play. They had Todd Christensen coming in motion, and he made contact on the defensive back, and it's kind of scraped off the linebacker who was, watch what happens. Watch what happens here. He gets in on Bostic, and see, he holds up the linebacker, 93, Lyles, and Lyles is the man in coverage and the running back out in the flat. All teams do it, and most teams get away with it.
Defensively, the Oilers rank 11th in the whole NFL. Raiders capitalizing though, and now a throw and a catch as Todd Christensen could be headed for a career day. He was saying something, I guess, Trump, when he told you he was going to catch some today.
He was interested in getting in the end zone. Keith Bostic was the man in coverage. Now watch what happens. Meads tries to hold him up, but look at the hand fighting. He just makes up his own pattern there, Don. A guy that gifted, now 5 catches, 63 yards for 3 touchdowns. Wilson's waiting only on him. You can see he's the only receiver out.
Last 3 touchdown day for Todd Christensen was an 83 against the Chargers. Extra point is good. Penalty markers are down. It makes little difference now. With 11:07 to play in the 3rd quarter, the Raiders are in command 28-7.
It was against Houston. So the extra point counts.
Offside, number 24, defense. The point is good. 5-yard penalty and a kickoff.
So Christensen with 3 touchdown receptions today, and the Raiders take a 28-7 lead. We'll be back with the Los Angeles kickoff in just a moment. Warren Moon, this is what he likes to throw on the run. He can really motor, averaging 5 yards a run. When he led the Edmonton Eskimos to 5 straight Grey Cup championships in the Canadian Football League, the whole offense there was a run-and-shoot offense with Moon sprinting out. He's very mobile. You see his average per carry. He came here in that bidding war. He had the same coach, Huey Campbell, but they made him into an NFL drop-back passer, and he still isn't comfortable with it. He's used to that big open field in Canada and firing on the run. One year he passed for almost 5,700 yards. Another year he threw for 36 touchdowns.
First year he was here, he was running Kay Dalton's offense, who was a holdover in the Houston coaching staff, and then Hugh Campbell put in his own offense the following year.
Joe Farragalli is the offensive coordinator. Now Gary Huff is working with him. The quarterback coach is on 2nd and 1. The Oilers take it at the Raiders and get a first down.
Here's the way the Oiler drives have gone today. Interception, punt, TD, interception, fumble, and punt. Not very good. Ernest Givens on the bench. An upset stomach, you say? Okay.
It's Mojo behind him, waiting to get that kicking tee. Those Raiders give some people upset stomachs. for the Raider defense. Jerry Robinson got through. He's been playing terrific football. Consensus All-American from UCLA, a #1 draft choice of the Eagles when they were under Vermeil. Now a Raider and a very good one.
They're coming with a lot of blitzes. You see 55 Millen, and you also see Jerry Robinson making the tackle. And the Raiders are basically going with a 5-man rush to try to flush Warren Moon out of the pocket.
Tell you one thing, Denver's going to have big trouble next Sunday against the Raiders at the Coliseum.
You think so?
I think so.
This team is on its way to winning its 5th straight. They certainly have the momentum.
This defense is dominating. Warren Moon stands in, fires a pass, and it's off the hands of his tight end, Jamie Williams. Perfectly catchable ball, and Williams hears some boos, and he should, as he had the ball right in his hands on the run. A perfect lead throw by his quarterback. Now the Vikings with a 10-point lead over the Browns. Pittsburgh taking no prisoners. They lost on a punt return, or actually a fake punt and a kick. Hunter ran it in for a touchdown on a Monday night for the Bengals to give them a 2-point win. Chicago holding to just a 3-point lead over the Detroit Lions now in the 3rd quarter. 49ers and Packers are tied. Kansas City looking for a 5th.
Townsend again.
Got rid of it.
Townsend again. You see Steinkuhler, number 70, right behind Warren Moon. Townsend beat him like a drum all day long. Dean Steinkuhler knows it, too. It'll come from the left-hand side of the picture. It's an outside pass rush. Now, the play takes a little bit longer because the snap is low, but both Jones from the right, 99, and 93 Townsend get there.
Lee Johnson from BYU, ready to punt the ball. Colton Walker from West Virginia, longtime Miami Dolphin, ready to run it back now for the Raiders. A 44-yard punt by Johnson, a 6-yard return. Raiders go back on offense. 9:19 to play 3rd quarter, and a 21-point lead for Los Angeles. The Astrodome in Houston, Texas. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy on NBC Sports, the home of the 1986 World Series. Game 7 is scheduled tonight for Shea Stadium in New York, and it's still on despite heavy rains all day. 8 o'clock is the airtime Eastern Time. 5 o'clock Pacific Time for the pregame show as Napoleon McCallum turns the corner and gets down inside. Now he doesn't get to midfield and was spotted out of bounds at the 47-yard line. A 12-yard run for McCallum, who's having a very consistent day. He's been pounding out yardage, 49 yards now and 14 carries.
Weak safety makes the tackle. That play was made possible by a great block by Frank Hawkins, leading McCallum out through there. He absolutely put the outside linebacker Meads on his back.
Like every team, Trump, that's having problems, the local media has not been kind to the Oilers. One writer described playing Miami, the Oilers, and Denver, the Raiders schedule for 3 weeks, like they're having a sandwich with nothing in the middle. Oilers another team in that scheduling. After the Raiders won at Miami last week, and go home to play Denver next Sunday.
And I'll tell you, though, more coaches you talk to around the league who have played the Houston Oilers, when the game is done, they are very thankful that they get out with a win. With the talent on this football team and with the manner in which they should play in the future, opposing coaches look at the films, and it's hard to believe that you dominate a team like the Houston Oilers. This is the only game that they've really been out of so far in 1986.
Marcus has himself a choice seat on the sideline, being held out today. Still a little problem with that ankle he injured early in the season. Wilson on 2nd down, looking for 8 from the 1st down. Going for a lot more than that as downfield as Hester, and the play is broken up at the 5-yard line. Let's watch center Don Mospar of the Los Angeles Raiders.
Only the 3rd center in the history of the Raiders. Jim Otto was the 1st. Dalby was the 2nd. He's got people around him who can pretty much do the job. He's just got his head on a swivel to help wherever help might be needed. He is a huge fellow.
Why does his centers play so long?
Centers don't normally play that long. It's just for the Raiders they do.
Now you look around the league, they play It's the longest standing position from a longevity standpoint in the offensive line.
Well, in the offensive line, yeah. I don't know why, but the new nose tackle with the 34 defenses has changed that a great deal. They used to play without a guy in front of him.
Nice breakout. Coming over to break the ball, knock it free, was Richard Johnson, a #1 draft choice 2 years ago out of Wisconsin, who hasn't had a lot of productivity so far for Houston. He did on that play, knocking it away from tight end Todd Christensen.
Again, Mosbar, this time he picks out a linebacker to block just to keep him off the quarterback as best he possibly can.
Ray Guy, great natural athletic talents. Scratch golfer when he plays a lot. And Alan Pinkett is now back deep, waiting Ray Guy's punt. Big rush, they don't get to him. Pinkett comes up on the ball, fair catching it at the 16-yard line. Nobody back there to talk to him. He could have run it back. 35-yard punt and no return. Oilers start out 1st and 10, but once again deep in their own end and way down on the board.
Battle the Raiders. Before your team takes the field, our team hits the air. NFL.
The suburbs of Houston sits Bum Phillips, the man who coached the Oilers so successfully. It was fired one year after they finished 11-5. They'd love to see something like that now.
Yeah, that's the last time that the Houston Oilers had a winning record. You can find a lot of ex-head football coaches lying around Houston here. Change has happened. Losing makes you change, whether it's a good move or not. And one thing the Houston Oilers are not afraid to do, apparently, is change. Sometimes it's not helped.
The long ball. Warren Moon going down, and the ball is caught at the 40-yard line. 39-yard line of the Raiders. A 45-yard gain to Drew Hill.
Sam Seal was the man in coverage. This was just a track meet, a foot race. Warren Moon said, "Big guys, give me time. Drew Hill, you run as fast as you can down the sideline." He looks off the weak safety, keeps looking to the right, knowing all along he's going to Drew Hill. And Hill makes a nice catch here. And Seal's that's not bad coverage at all. Big pickup. With a 45-yard pickup.
We need a lot more of those, and in a hurry. 8 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Here's a handoff, and Woolfolk tries to run the ball, and the Raiders give him nothing at all. Piquel comes over, throws him back. Also on the play was linebacker Rod Martin. They're going to a new pitcher, Oliver Luck.
And he's been warming up all day. I'll tell you one thing about the Houston Oilers, they are still without a rushing first down today. When you take away half of a team's offense, as the Raiders have done against Houston, I mean, you've got them dominated. And if you can't run the football, you can't win in the NFL.
On 2nd and 12, Warren Moon tries up top again. Throws a strike to Tim Smith, the most popular Oiler player. He hasn't had much playing time this year. That's his first catch of this season for Tim Smith. Good for 21 yards. A guy who's averaged over 60 catches the last 3 years.
Well, the fans like it, that's for sure. Very active in the community. Lester Hayes has the man-to-man coverage. Smith goes in. He initiates the bump. Moon with good timing gets it right to him. 21-yard pickup. Oilers in business in this drive, Don.
Yes, they are. They wanted more speed at the flanks, so they put in younger players with more quickness, but Tim Smith has the 9-second hands. He catches it.
Too much time. Here we go again, Houston.
Another misfire on the part of the Houston Oilers. Vikings holding to a 7-point lead. Steelers continue to lead. The Jets dominating the New Orleans Saints now in the 3rd quarter. We have 6:28 to play in the 3rd quarter here at the Astrodome. Eagles on 3 field goals up on San Diego. Here at the Astrodome, the Raiders leading 28-7. At halftime, they were up 21-7. Gifford Nielsen, now a broadcaster for the Houston Oilers, a former quarterback, said, "Dude, there's more talent on this team than you would really believe." but they find a way to make it not happen. Warren Moon has been having problems today. Some balls beautifully on target, others errant and tipped and intercepted. He's had 3 interceptions today. And while Warren Moon struggles on the field, on the sidelines, Oliver Luck, his backup, now warms up.
That's the 4th sack by the Raiders today. Rod Martin. You notice that Howie Long is, take that back, was on the bench. He's still on the bench. He's being attended to. He has a cramp, we understand.
Seattle at Denver, the second half of the NBC Sports doubleheader today, as another throw downfield is in the hands of this one to Butch Woolfolk. Now they're going to rule incomplete down at the 15-yard line. The Seahawks and the Broncos at Denver next on NBC Sports following this game, and then Denver moves in for a rematch with the Raiders at the Coliseum next Sunday. Tim Smith, number 83, in the 7th year from Nebraska. Steinkuhler, another Cornhusker.
There's a cramp in his hamstring. Howie Long on the sideline.
You believe with a build like that, he just started lifting weights this year?
No.
He grew up that way. Too much on the ball as a step on the defense was had by Drew Hill. Warren Moon comes in high, and again, he hears the displeasure of the Houston fans with 5:32 to play. A couple of Raiders, Trump, might have run into each other.
And they sure did. It was a real collision, too. Lester Hayes and Van McElroy. One thing to get hurt by your opponent, but another to get hurt by your teammate.
Hayes, a big corner, played at 220 last year. He's down about 208 this year.
A lot better in coverage, although worth repeating, I've seen less of the bump and run by the Raiders today than I think I have all season long, Don. Don't know why. Appears they've also come with more blitzes today.
Zendejas only 1 of 3 outside the 40. He's 8 for 10 on field goals for the year. But Zendejas hits it up and through. So the Oilers come down without coming away with disappointment. They do get 3 and trail 28-10. With Bob Trumpy, this is Don Criqui back at the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. 5:27 to play in the 3rd quarter. The Raiders lead the Oilers 28-10. Lee Johnson ready to kick off now for the Houston Oilers. All-American kicker for one of the great BYU teams of Lavelle Edwards at Brigham Young. Well hit ball downfield, soccer style, and it's going to be taken down in the end zone, and Adams will down the ball there.
He wanted to come out.
Golden Walker advised him better of it, and so the Raiders will start at their 20.
Today, Mark Wilson has thrown 4 touchdown passes. You know who holds the Raider records for touchdown passes in a game? Tom Flores.
Against the Oilers.
This was at Frank Ewell Field, which was
1963.
You ever see Frank Ewell Field?
No.
Nothing but scaffolding. 10,000 seats on one side, 10,000 seats on the other side. I think that's 84. I was going to say Clem Daniels, I believe, was 34.
Topped at 3, and the Oilers have the ball. This might not be over yet. 28-10, and the Oilers will have it 1st and goal on a big play by a defense that's been good all year, grading out 11th in the entire NFL.
Comes from the left-hand side, and Wilson sees it. He's trying to run away from it, and before he can get that ball going forward, it's loose.
The room service hop to Golick.
Finally, one of the first bounces to go in the Houston Oilers' way through 7 games. And it stands. No word from the replay official. That's the first turnover of the day for the Houston Oilers.
Two of the Oiler interceptions. There have been 3 were turned into touchdowns by the Raiders. Now they position the ball at the 7-yard line. 1st and goal, Oilers.
The umpire is talking.
After the review by the replay official, the ruling of fumble stands. First up.
Yeah, where was that in the first quarter? That's the easy one. The officials on the field can make that play. The instant
Something
replay.
to appease some restless natives.
The instant replay is for use like the one in the first quarter.
Houston fans still unhappy over that first quarter call. A fumble by Mark Wilson ruled a non-fumble. And the Oilers didn't get the ball, and shortly thereafter they gave up the first touchdown. Now let's see if Moon can take him in after a big defensive play. Wolfo turning outside. He got 3 down to the 4-yard line. Second and goal from there. Reggie McKenzie knocked him down. Altoona of the Jets has caught 3 touchdown passes today from his quarterback Ken O'Brien as the Jets are laying waste to another opponent after beating Denver on Monday night. Buffalo's on the board, but not with much against the tough Patriots. Now, the Oilers trailing 28-10. Second and goal from the Raiders' 4-yard line. Rozier, he's in. Hands are up. Touchdown down the board. A 4-yard run as Rozier shows his running ability at its best. A cutback run. He beat the tacklers.
Rozier's second rushing touchdown of the season. Wolfhook has a good lead block in front. Watch number 40. He takes on, I can't pick up the number, but that opens the hole. Matthews, 74, the left tackle, gets the defensive end inside. Big gaping hole for Rozier to run through. And we can see from this side. Now it's Jeff Barnes, 56, he blocks out. Great block by Wolfhook, makes that touchdown easy.
Hits the extra point, and all of a sudden there's something to cheer about here in Houston as the Oilers start to move the ball and get some points, and they have now scored 10 points here in the third quarter, and they trail in the game 28-17.
Down before the ball game, we were talking to Jerry Glanville. He said, I can't get mad at any of these kids. There is no quit in them. They work hard. They keep working hard. They never give up. He says, I can't yell at them.
And as you were pointing out, the opposing coaches say the same thing.
Absolutely. They just, it's amazing. They just keep shooting themselves in the foot.
2 of the best in the tough AFC West hook up in the second game of an NBC Sports doubleheader today when the Seattle Seahawks go against the Broncos at Denver's Mile High Stadium. That's coming up after this game where we have 4:28 to play in the third quarter, and it's now 28-17, the Raiders in the lead. Next week, the second half of an NBC Sports doubleheader will match the Denver Broncos and the Raiders. That'll be at Los Angeles in the Coliseum.
John, this would be a great time for an onside kick. If you could, if you think maybe the Raiders would be thinking about someplace else, this would be a perfect time for an onside kick.
I think I'd whack it downfield and let your defense, which has been playing well, try to get it back. Look at the charge this Johnson puts into the ball. Out of the end zone on the fly. Very nearly across the upright.
Interesting. Zendejas does.
Now here goes Mojo. He's going off the field fast.
He's not rolling anymore. Oh, he just broke his
Got a couple
glasses.
left.
He's not rolling anymore. He's dying on that sideline. I was going to say, Lee Johnson does the kicking off, soccer style. He's the punter. Zendejas is the field goal kicker. He takes care of the extra points and field goals.
Handoff goes, and running the ball is Hawkins, who's across the 25-yard line out to the 27. I live near the former Yankee great Trump, Yogi Berra, as you know, in New Jersey. Last year, Mojo, somebody told him that, and he came up to me, and he's the greatest fan in the world of Yogi Berra, and he said, could you send me something from Yogi? So I had Yogi autograph a baseball and send it to him. This year, I sent him Yogi Berra. He, of course,
very nice of you.
Coach with the Astros.
Very nice of you. One way to beat the blitz, and I think the Oilers right now are going to keep coming with the blitz, is running the football.
Hey, Mojo's about ready to strap on a hat and get in there. Oiler defense coming up again now with a hard hit on a 2nd down and 3 play. The knockdown is made at the 28-yard line, a gain of just a yard.
Mies and Bostic. See the Oilers really attacking that line of scrimmage, trying to fill each gap, give the Raider running backs no option, and have the pursuit catch up to him. This is a big 3rd down here. 3rd down and about 2. This is when you find out who your offensive coaches think your best lineman is. They run behind him.
Raiders are all good. Wilson stands in. Look at the catch by Todd Christensen for a 1st down. John Grimsley knocked him down, but Todd Christensen, who's having a superb day, makes maybe his toughest catch of the day. He's been in the end zone 3 times with the ball.
You see that Bostic is doing no good whatsoever holding him up. And then 25, Bostic gets scraped off by Grimsley, 59, the linebacker, and that is a great catch. His 6th of the day.
Everybody wonders how Christensen constantly gets free against all that attention he gets. I think one of the things that nobody gives him credit for, he's fast. He can run fast. He cuts underneath that zone and comes across the field, and they don't stay with him. Plus, if it's near him, he gets it. He doesn't miss. Now it's 1st and 10 for the Raiders. With an 11-point lead, 3rd quarter, they go to Vance Mueller, the rookie back from Occidental, takes it out to the 36-yard line.
Christensen's one of those guys, too, that you got to get him involved in the offense early in the game. Not for his sake, but just so the defense knows we're aware of Todd Christensen. It changes the way the defense plays when you can get the ball to him.
Remember something Johnny Unitas told us one time. He said, when you've got a great player, you've got to get the ball in his hands. He said, we had John Mackey, he was the best tight end in football. So when they double and triple him at the line, we give it to him on a tight end around just to get the ball in his hands. The great players have to have the ball to do you any good. Now on 2nd down and 8, a big rush on Mark Wilson. He gets it away and he throws a strike. It's good for a Raider 1st down out to the 48-yard line. As Dokie Williams gets downfield, makes a 13-yard catch, takes the big hit and holds on.
Wilson has had an outstanding day today. He stands in there. Pressure all over him. People falling at his feet. 79, Childress is hanging onto a foot. Still gets it off to Dokie Williams. It's Steve Brown in coverage, and that's a tough catch. But the minute that ball hit his hands, he got hit.
Wilson now 15 for 29, 15 completions, 29 throws, 217 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Hand up to McCallum on 1st down. He breaks it down to the Oiler 48-yard line. He got 3. John Grimsley, a 3rd-year linebacker from Kentucky, knocked him down.
Watch Hawkins once again. Real fire plug in there. Excellent blocker. Doesn't block to the man, blocks through the man. And Bostic is out of the play. Grimsley has to make the tackle. This kid's yards sneak up on you. You know that? He gets him 4 or 5 yards at a click into the game. He's 50, 60, 70 yards.
We're going to keep that Peleliu in port until after the playoffs?
Oh, I would imagine. I would imagine.
Because when that goes out, that goes for a while, doesn't it?
And so does Ensign McCallum.
We do have helicopters. At the end of the 3rd quarter, it's 28-17. Raiders over the Oilers. Back after these messages from your local station.
In coverage by Patrick Allen. Got himself between the quarterback and the receiver. You see Wilson is watching the crossing pattern, but he's flushed. Jeff Donaldson, 31, right in his face. There's Allen. Gets underneath Hester. And the Raiders offense, the Oilers offense back on the field for another shot here.
Completions, 19 throws, 117 yards. He's been intercepted 3 times. He has to hit the big throws now as we start down the stretch of this game. Luke Lee, he's got his man. Tight end Jamie Williams from Nebraska, running in the open field. And Williams takes it down to the 35-yard line. Remember, he heard the boos earlier when he dropped the ball. This time he turns a catch into a 33-yard gain.
The coverage is not bad here, Don. You can see that Stacy Turan who almost strips the ball away, but Jamie Williams, with good strength, hangs on to it. I also noticed that Howie Long still not back in the defensive front for the Raiders. Greg Townsend is playing defensive end.
Woolfolk in motion. Sean Jones comes early. We'll see if he was drawn offside.
I'd say the odds are it's against Houston, wouldn't you?
Boy, I tell you, that is very inadequate
False start,
performance.
Number 74, offense, still first down.
Bruce Matthews. That's 11 penalties. Matthews been one of their most consistent performers, and there's Mike Munchak. They're all shaking their heads.
You use the word, they say the word great is used too much. There is a great football player, Mike Munchak, regarded as the premier guard in the National Football League by all the opposing scouting services. Okay, he blows him 5 yards off the line. His zone blocks, cleans him out, but he can't play now because of a knee problem, and it's 1st and 15 after yet another misfunction. Warren Moon is sacked back at the 50-yard line, the 5th time the Raiders have caught him, and Jeff Barnes caught him hard.
Now, the thing that surprises me is that the Houston Oilers are continuing to try to block the outside linebackers with running backs. This time Barnes runs right over Woolfolk, number 40. There you see 40 on 56. They roll up the leg of Steinkuhler. Everyone's all right, but the 5th sack of the day.
Not where you want to be against this Raider defense. 2nd down and 23. Mike Acue, a second-year player from Hawaii, is in the game for the first time. He's flanked to the near side. Tip ball, incomplete.
Boy, that's happened a bunch
10
today.
tip balls today, and
8 tipped balls.
have you ever seen that happen much?
No. And Warren Moon is an upright thrower. He stands way high and throws over his head, and they're still able to tip the ball. Piquel had 3 in the first half. I don't know how you coach against that.
So now on 3rd and forever. 3rd and 23 for the Oilers. Warren Moon from the shotgun back to his 39. Just a poorly thrown ball. But it should be pointed out there was a very good rush against him. Greg Townsend was smoking in there, heating up on him.
They got all the defensive linemen kind of packed in there, and Townsend continues to get the outside rush on Steinkuhler. 93, 70 are the two principals. Townsend's just in a foot race with Stein. Look at the negatives. Look at the negatives. Woo.
And they're still in the game with 12:51 to play. Raiders 28, Oilers 17. Johnson, a towering punt. He punts the ball, as you see, barefooted. Fair catch is made at the 10-yard line by Fulton Walker. An excellent punt, 40 yards, and no return, planting it inside the 20 at the 10. Raiders get it on offense when we come back to the Astrodome. Kings at Minneapolis. The Steelers, a big underdog en route to a blowout of their rivals, the Bengals in the AFC Central. The Jets now in a ball game. New Orleans comes back within 8 after trailing 28-6. Bears holding to that 3-point lead on the Lions. New England extends its lead over Buffalo to 17 points, and the 49ers break the tie and go up on Green Bay. Now the Oiler defense. Good-looking unit. Takes on the Raider blockers as Hawkins comes at him and doesn't get much. 1st and 10 from the 10-yard line of Los Angeles. The gain is for about 1 yard. Now let's swing back to NFL 86, where Ahmad Rashad is standing by. Ahmad?
All right, Don, in Minnesota, Curtis Dickey, playing for the injured Ernest Biner, takes the handoff and goes 17 yards up the middle for the touchdown. Cleveland ties the score at 20. It's in the 4th quarter, and on the ensuing kickoff, Cleveland recovered a Viking fumble.
Thank you, Ahmad. So Browns making it happen in that game at Minneapolis. Right now, the Oiler defense will be coming on a 2nd and 9 play. McCallum breaks it up the middle, and he gets a Raider first down. Super trap blocking.
Today's game is brought to you by the heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet. By Budweiser, Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by Apple Computers, makers of the Apple II and Macintosh families of personal computers.
John Hanna with an excellent block that sprung Napoleon McCallum for an 11-yard gain, and here comes McCallum again. Charlie Hanna, brother of John Hanna. Boy, they both play a long time. John lasted 13 years. Charlie's in his 10th year, both out of Alabama.
Once again, McCallum's numbers kind of sneak up on you. The Oilers are trying to come with a blitz down on almost every down, and the one way you beat a blitz is a trap. You get somebody penetrating across the line of scrimmage, blow that guy out, and Charlie Hanna had a monstrous block on that last 11-yard pickup by McCallum.
McCallum has maybe the main ingredient for a standout runner, and that's durability. He can take it a lot, take the pounding, just like the man he's standing in for, Marcus Allen can. Marcus being held out of this game. He is in uniform, still troubled by a tender ankle. But right now, McCallum running towards 80 yards, moves the ball ahead. Game clock is down to 10:25 and running in the 4th quarter, and the Raiders holding to an 11-point lead.
While at the Naval Academy, McCallum was not only their leading rusher, but he was their main punt returner and kickoff return man, too. So even with this 4 o'clock wake-up call every day and full duties on the Peleliu in practice, somehow he finds some energy somewhere. Taking a timeout here. I don't know why.
We pointed out earlier, Trump, this Raider team was very, very up for this game. They weren't coming in here with, let's just go through 4 quarters, get a win, and go home. They knew it was going to be tough, and it's turning out to be. We'll be back after this. His best players, Howie Long of the Raiders, is sidelined at the moment. His right hamstring packed with ice.
Yeah, the report we got was a cramp in his hamstring. That does not look like the way they normally treat a cramp. That looks like a pull. Standing right next to Howie Long was Kurt Marsh, who was on the injured reserve for the Raiders. Very gifted young offensive lineman.
We do want to point out again, you are still not yet licensed to practice.
That is correct.
But you had some injuries. 3rd and 2, McCallum over the top. Napoleon McCallum, with his best day as a Raider, now has gained 80 yards, and on that carry, on a 3rd and 2, he goes over the top for a first down.
Hawkins once again makes this possible. A good lead block up there. Actually, he doesn't make contact with anybody. But a good hole blown out by the offensive left side, Charlie Hanna and Bruce Davis, along with Mosbar. And it's an easy pickup. Bo Eason, the safety, has to make the tackle. And he's going to the bench for a little breather.
Shortly, those of you in Seattle will be leaving us to watch the Broncos-Seahawks game. We will keep you informed on the game throughout the rest of the afternoon on NFL 86. Right now, we have 9:42 to play at the Astrodome. The Los Angeles Raiders with the ball are leading 28-17. And the Raiders, following today's play, head home to play the Broncos at the Coliseum. There are tickets still available. We've been asked to inform the Los Angeles fans. Handoff goes to McCallum, and he's out to the 39-yard line. First down carry, got 3. Raiders huddling at their leisure as they run the clock down to 9 minutes to play.
Eason back in the ball game, Don. Seems to be all right.
McCallum scratching for yards, but he didn't get any. 7 straight times now that Napoleon McCallum has carried the ball as the Raiders go to their runner to run the clock. Ray Childress and Robert Lyles are on the stop for Houston.
Looks like Bruce Davis is on the ground, Don. Yeah, he's up. And
veteran left tackle for the Raiders.
McCallum never takes himself out of there. There's Bruce Davis. McCallum never takes himself out of the ball game. I guess that's not a luxury afforded any rookie in the NFL, but as long as they keep calling his number, he's got to keep taking it.
I tell you, in a way, the injury to Marcus Allen might have benefited the Raiders in the long run because they had to play McCallum, and he's turned into a real player right away.
The other thing is the team learned it can win without Marcus Allen, the league's most valuable player in 1985.
This will be their third win in a 5-game win streak. They've been without Marcus. Long ball, man is out there. Hester, but the coverage is there, too. It's incomplete at the 28-yard line. It was Patrick Allen who broke it up. Last time they went at him, you'll remember he intercepted. Jesse Baker got some heat on the quarterback, Mark Wilson.
Patrick Allen was the man in coverage. There's a bump here, but both looking for the ball, so they really don't call it. Hester is pleading for the flag. Take a look at Keith Bostic. A shot right in the chest of Mark Wilson. Those are the kind you feel in February.
Downfield by Ray Guy, who had a hurry to get it off. Fair catch is made by Alan Pinkett at the 28-yard line. And so the Oilers, with 7:56 to play in the game, get the ball back. And now Cleveland, down at 1 point, 20-3, has rallied back to take a 23-20 lead over the Vikings at Minneapolis. Steelers, with a lot of Steeler pride, after being blasted 34-0 at home last week, come back to rout the Bengals today. New Orleans easing back into the game with the Jets. Bears now holding to a 6-point lead. They just got a field goal from Kevin Butler. Tucked the ball in and waited for it.
They're going to count it a sack, Don. That's 6 for the Raiders today. Sean Jones gets a hold of him.
Now let's go back to Ahmad Rashad at NFL 86. Ahmad?
All right, Don. In Indianapolis, quote quarterback Jack Trudeau makes this last-ditch effort to score. It's caught by Walter Murray, but ruled out of bounds. The Dolphins hold on to win the game 17-13.
Thank you, Ahmad. And so the Indianapolis Colts 0-8 at the turn, but they have a big lead in an important race, the Vinny Testaverde race. The quarterback from Miami of Florida is going to be the #1 player drafted by the NFL next spring. Here's a throw. Butch Woolfolk doesn't hold on. It brings up 3rd down and 18. I think Ahmad said that was final, wasn't it? Miami beating Indianapolis.
First final of the day. Look at that. San Diego shut out again. How can that much offense score so few points?
Well, that team did a job on the Rams and did the same to the Falcons the following week.
And then where'd they go?
You can't win them all.
San Diego, on the other hand, scores 50 points in the first game. Can't score much after that for the remainder of the season.
So close. A 3rd down throw by Warren Moon. Just a little bit too much lead on it for a diving Tim Smith. And so with 7:16 to play in the game, the Oilers are forced to send their punter Lee Johnson back out.
Man coverage again. Just slightly overthrown. You see the coverage man underneath is James Davis. Almost a big catch.
Throw a pass here. They need 2 scores to get in this game. End over end punt. Walker, a fair catch, loses it, but gets it back at the Raider 44. And so with 7:08 to play in the game, the Raiders gave the ball and an 11-point lead.
I don't know.
Been the biggest story in this game is the Raiders have turned Houston Oilers interceptions into points in the first half. 2 interceptions of Warren Moon were turned into touchdowns. Oilers aren't a bad team, but they have the continuing problem of misfiring.
I agree with you. The Raiders' only concern right now, I would believe, is who's going to be healthy for next week against Denver. With Howie Long on the sideline with an ice bag on his leg, even though it's still reported as a cramp, I wonder if there isn't a twinge in that hamstring, a pull. And you certainly hope not. With Mark with Marcus Allen already out, Mike Haynes with a bad pulled muscle. You can't afford against a division opponent like Denver an injury to your best defensive player, and that's Howie Long. There it is.
I think he'd be ready. I think even if it's slightly pulled, they don't want to risk him in a game where they have a substantial lead.
True, but there are very few injuries that can keep somebody on the bench, and a high hamstring pull is one of them. I mean, you can play with dislocated fingers and bad shoulders, but a hamstring just absolutely keeps you right in the starting blocks.
Well, I think you'll see Mike Haynes, who didn't play today or last week, and Marcus Allen, who didn't play today, and Howie Long, who's on the sideline, going up and down the Coliseum field like it's the Olympics. Big game days, guys play with broken legs.
They do?
They have.
I had a guy, I played with a guy, his name was Pat Matson. He was a messenger guard for the Cincinnati Bengals in 1969, played 3 quarters on a broken leg, and was complained to by the coaches that he wasn't getting the plays in fast enough.
Nolan Ryan of the Astros had a cracked bone in his ankle. He pitched 5 innings of a playoff game on a partially fractured ankle. Not much there for Frank Hawkins. On a first down carry, he's out to the 48-yard line as the Raiders, trying to run the clock, have it down inside 7 minutes to play now. Holding to a 28-17 lead over Houston.
One of the indications of how a defense is doing is how many times you call the defensive line for tackles as opposed to linebackers and defensive backs. The guys' numbers that we've called the most today, I think, are Bostic and Bo Eason. That means they're getting through that front line, and the safeties have to make the tackles.
2 leading tacklers for the Raiders, ironically, are their safeties, Turan and McElroy. Look at another tremendous catch by Christensen, who goes way up and comes down with the ball for a Raider first down.
I'll tell you one thing, if Keith Bostic never sees Todd Christensen again in a football uniform, it'll be too soon.
Christensen's caught 7 today. He has 46 for the season. Good for 81 yards today and 3 touchdowns.
See the contact.
And fights him off.
He does it very well, and he doesn't get caught.
They wrap him, hammer him.
Have they tried handcuffs?
He doesn't miss when they get it close.
Shackles. Tie his shoelaces together. He'll still catch the ball.
Hawkins on first down. Both arms on the ball. He's out down to the 36-yard line of Houston. Raiders controlling the ball and the clock. Running it right at Houston. Robert Lyles and John Grimsley were on the stop. Raider coach Tom Flores under control when they were 0-3. Told his team, told anybody to listen. He said, we're a good football team. 0-3 by a margin of 11 points. That's why I think New England's such a good team. Their opponents were 17-4 that beat them, the 3 opponents, starting today's play.
Starting next week, too, is Raider time. Since 1982, the season of 1982, as I said at the outset of the program, the Raiders are 21-7 in games played in November and December. They've made 3 straight times a division champion and been in the playoffs every year since '82. And starting next week, that's when the Raiders are in business. That's when you win championships and get to the playoffs and hopefully the Super Bowl.
Another interesting afternoon for the Raiders, Trump, is going to be December 14th when the Kansas City Chiefs go to the LA Coliseum. A lot of warm feelings after that first meeting.
Really, Flores doesn't get a lot of credit. We got delay of game.
He deserves it. Flores, in his 8th year as head coach of the Raiders, has 3 divisional championship teams and 2 Super Bowl winners to his credit. Now with 4:21 left to play, the Raiders go back into a huddle.
This team is known to be a team of characters. That's plural. Some real dandies out there, but it takes even more work for a head coach to get them all to practice on time and get their attention all focused in the right direction, and Flores has always done a spectacular job of that.
Well, a lot of that is overplayed, too. I think the Raiders and anybody in the league will tell you have as many quality people as any team, maybe more. You get guys like Marcus Allen, Mike Haynes, Plunkett, Wilson, Christensen. These are quality leaders. And right now the ball is overthrown to Dokie Williams and many more. It's too many to name, but they're loaded with leadership, this Raider team.
And they lost some leaders from last year, too. You know, Dalby retires. Lyle Alzado retires. There's a lot of people there. That last penalty on the Los Angeles Raiders, too, just their second penalty of the game, and both have been for delay of game.
Henry Lawrence has been a tremendous leader, playing for 13 years now. Right tackle. High punt hit downfield by Ray Guy. Pinkett lets it go in, which it just does, and so it comes out to the 20, and the Oilers will try again. 40-yard punt by Ray Guy, but 20 comes off on the net yardage.
When you look on the other side of the ball on the Houston Oilers, Don, you know, they've got quality players, too. Players that come from winning programs like Warren Moon, like Rozier from Nebraska, like Steinkühler from Nebraska, Matthews from USC, Jim Romano from the Raiders.
I was talking to Coach Flores one day. We're talking about the Oiler roster. He said, you know how many games you have to lose to get guys like that, like Munchak and Steinkühler? These were some of the top players picked when they came out.
It continues, too.
Wilson is out to the 31-yard line. 11-yard gain, but the Oilers aren't that far away. Toughest thing to find might be great offensive linemen in abundance, and they have them in abundance.
You're right. Jerry Glanville took a new approach in 1986, too. He started voluntary camp in March, and about 60 players showed up. As a matter of fact, after Jim Everett was drafted, he only missed one meeting until training camp started. And they worked in pads a few days because everyone was learning a new offense and a new defense. Took their time, started in March.
Fight for the ball between Tim Smith and the defender. It falls incomplete at the 46-yard line. He was fighting James Davis for it. So that brings up 3rd down and 10 now.
Continuing our thinking about the way these two franchises are set up, though, for the Los Angeles Raiders, they have 10 former players as employees, one a former Houston Oiler. Mike Reinfeldt is their comptroller. And for the Houston Oilers, the one thing that's remained consistent about this team is change. New coaches, new coaching staffs, new quarterbacks, new players. A real swinging door here in Houston.
Well, they've made a commitment to Glanville. Jerry Glanville has a 5-year contract as head coach. Here's a swing and a catch. With the ball is Drew Hill, and he's ahead on long yardage for a first down. He got 17.
He's been a consistent performer today. The Raiders still going with the man-to-man coverage, although loose. You see Sam Seal kind of dropping off of Drew Hill. Finally, Jerry Robinson and Stacy Turan there to help on the tackle.
Warren Moon looks and throws, and it's too much on it. Going again to Drew Hill. That'll make it 2nd down and 10 for the Oilers. The ball positioned to their 48-yard line with 2:54 to play, and the Raiders in the lead 28-17.
Talking to Glanville before the game, he said the difference between us and the Raiders is we don't know how good we are. We don't have enough wins to really document to ourselves how good we are. We can't afford turnovers or any kind of mistake. So the Raiders team, they can make all kinds of mistakes, have the interceptions and the penalties, and still figure out a way to win. So we haven't learned that yet.
2 streaks going to be extended today. The Raiders win streak to 5. The Oilers losing streak to 4 unless something big happens. Now let's quickly swing back to NFL 86 in New York. Here's Ahmad.
All right, Don, in Minneapolis, with 12 seconds left to go in the game, the Vikings had a chance to send the game into overtime, but Chuck Nelson misses the field goal from the 45. Vikings lose 23-20.
Thank you, Ahmad. Surprise there. The Vikings 5-2, looking to go 6-2 at the turn and stay a game back of the Bears, but the Browns come from way behind after they were upset by the Packers last week to win the game. 2:49 to play here at Houston. Oilers trying to get back in it, down by 11 in the 4th quarter. And again, Moon has way too much on it. He was looking at Tim Smith. Penalty marker down, though, in the Raiders secondary.
Let's just guess it's against the Raiders. Well, I don't believe it.
Illegal use of the hands, a jam to the face. Number 37, defense, first down.
That was Lester Hayes on Micah Q. We know that Tom Flores can throw the ball, but Tom's going to work on his hands here. He's wide open, and he lets it slip right through there. Come on, you got to catch those, Tom.
Look it into your hands.
That's it. Catch it before you run with it.
First and 10 throw. Too high, but Drew Hill came down with it anyway as he heads for the sideline. And did he get there? He did not, with 2:35 to play and the clock running. So the Oilers quickly go into alignment without a huddle. Now they're going into 2-minute offense. Right to the shotgun goes Warren Moon. Open man takes it at the 31-yard line. That was Ernest Givens, a 16-yard gain. I'd be looking at him a lot at our Warren Moon. He's open a lot. 2-minute warning is given now with the Raiders in the lead, 28-17. We'll be back for the final 2 minutes of the Astrodome. Today's MVP is Todd Christensen of the Raiders, who caught 7 passes for 82 yards, 3 for touchdowns. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's games. Raiders heading towards a 5th consecutive victory. Their projection at the outset of every season is to make the turn at 6-2 because they usually play a lot of road games in the first half. 5 of their first 8 games were on the road. So scheduling will be with them in the second half.
They'll settle for a 5-3 start, too. The Houston Oilers have 3 timeouts, just took 1, so there'll be 2 remaining.
Seattle and Denver, the second half of today's NBC Sports doubleheader coming up from Mile High Stadium. A most important game as the Broncos lead the AFC West at 6-1, and Seattle comes in with a 5-2 record. Interesting stat, our NBC statistician Dennis Mnuchin pointing out that when Warren Moon has started for the Oilers, they've won 8 games and lost 29. People said John Elway wasn't a winner, but as a starter, he's something like 31-9.
At $1 million a year, too. I'm sure there are a lot of people in Houston not particularly happy about that record, 8-29. Mark Wilson as a starter for the Los Angeles Raiders last year was 11-2.
Big winner.
But not all of the things that happened to Warren Moon are his fault. 2 deflections today for interceptions.
Raiders are so experienced, though, so much in concert. One quarterback goes down. Plunkett went down. They plug in Wilson, and same is true when Wilson went out against Kansas City. Plunkett came in and played superbly.
Just win, baby. Moon's also had 8 drops today, counted by Dennis Mnuchin.
Now it is 2nd down and 7. Handoff goes to Hawkins. Oilers fighting to get the ball, calling a timeout now with 1:30 to play in the game.
You want to pick up the time a little bit in NFL games. You give them the timeout, and they go right back to the huddle, and you run the play. There'll be 90 seconds expire here before the next play is run. And this is where games that start out to be 3 hours long end up being 3 hours and 20 minutes long. Everybody just standing around out there. All you're trying to do is stop the clock. So stop the clock, let them get back in the huddle, and go right back to playing. This is an interesting huddle.
Game 7 still on for tonight despite heavy rains earlier today in New York. Oil Can Boyd goes for the Red Sox. Ron Darling goes for the Mets.
Tough to top Game 6 no matter what happens.
Won't be easy for Oil Can at Shea tonight.
Game 6 of the 1975 series involving the Boston Red Sox and the Cincinnati Reds. Termed by many the best game ever played in World Series competition. I think last night.
Had to be close, if not the equal. Hawkins turns the corner and gets out to the 25-yard line. And again, play is stopped with a timeout, and 2 Raiders are down.
They look more tired than they do anything else.
A couple of Raider fans here.
Tough to find those jerseys in Houston, Texas, I would imagine.
1:22 left to play in the game. The NBC doubleheader today. The Denver Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks at Mile High Stadium in Denver. And then it's on to Game 7 of the World Series tonight at Shea Stadium in New York. Winners tell jokes, losers say deal. Marcus Allen enjoying himself.
He's telling jokes.
He'll be ready next Sunday when the Denver Broncos come to the Coliseum.
Christensen with 3 touchdown passes, his best performance of the season by far. Touchdown-wise, had a good day.
The referee is going to give him every last second, needless as they may be. Ray Guy is on the field now to punt the ball for the Raiders.
All 11 guys are up, too, Don.
Yes, they are. They might loop it downfield. Look at this. Didn't get to it, and so the ball carries downfield. This will be a big one for Ray Guy. As it rolls on down inside the 15-yard line, down to the 14, a 56-yard punt. Nobody back helps Ray Guy's average with 1:08 to go. The Oilers come out to fire for 4 downs, do the best they can. But now it'll be too little too late as the Raiders have a 28-17 lead with just 68 ticks left on the clock.
There are some real fans here from the Houston Oilers. Yeah, a lot of these folks out in their cars killing armadillos. Tough to drive around the state of Texas, apparently, without running over one of those things.
They turn them into boots, though.
Not when they've been run over. They don't make good boots.
And Givens comes to the near flank. Drew Hill at the top of your screen. Givens is bumped, but it's ruled a clean play by the Raider defender Sam Steele. Now let's look at the scoreboard as almost all the 1 o'clock Eastern games are final. Vikings lose to the Cleveland Browns after winning big or leading by a big margin. Pittsburgh's upset Cincinnati. Jets hold on to beat New Orleans. Chicago does the same to go 7-1 with a close victory over Detroit. New England, a tough-looking outfit, blows away Buffalo. That game was over early. Miami beat Indianapolis today, and Kansas City with a 7-point win over Tampa Bay makes the turn at 5-3 into the second half of the season. Next Sunday we start playing the back 9. Here's a pitch up the middle, and Drew Hill takes it out to the 33-yard line. The doubleheader game is underway at Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado. We'll be going there shortly. A field goal by Rich Carlos of the Broncos has given Denver a 3-0 lead over Seattle. Rams and Falcons scoreless in a big one at Anaheim. Roco catches the ball. Still fighting for yards. He's down to the 45-yard line. The game clock keeps ticking on down. The Oilers out of timeouts. 23-yard gain.
Moon got hammered by Greg Townsend that time.
Right back into action. Warren Moon from the shotgun goes the distance. Turan might have a play on the ball. It's incomplete. 5 seconds left. Time to reload and refire one more time.
Warren Moon has thrown for over 300 yards today. And 9 times he's thrown for 300 yards. 8 losses as the starting quarterback for the Houston Oilers. Isn't that something? That's why running the ball wins you championships. Passing the ball just gets you lots of yards.
Well, he passed it a lot, 45 times, 304 yards. And again, where statistics can be misleading. The interceptions have been a big turn in this game.
And think about that. He's thrown for over 300 times, 300 yards, 9 times, lost 8 games.
Long looping ball, a lot of white shirts around it. Tipped into the end zone, incomplete. And the game is history, and the Raiders extend their win streak to 5 in a row, heading back for a game next Sunday against Denver. Coming up next on NBC.